Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Issei was Batman Devil Dragon in DC and Harem Wonder Women? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the RageRevan for writing that awesome fanfic and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. The quote from the Joker. It only takes one bad day to drive a man to insanity. In this dark alternate take on the arc of the high School Dxd. Our main protagonist Issei Haidu, instead of winning against RageRevan live in Lucifer, he instead loses to him. This does not make things any better as RageRevan manages to kill both of Issei's parents and mortally wounds Asia Argento. Issei himself is severely injured. Things only get worse for our chestnut hero as Drake sacrifices himself to save our hero from RageRevan's final attack. Drake perishes, or so it is thought. RageRevan. Ha, that damn dragon is finally dead, the alliance is vulnerable, and with Issei Kun on the ground, I am unstoppable. Issei, eyes dried cause of tears. No. Drake. He passes out due to sheer blood loss. Everyone. Issei. Months later. Issei has finally awoken from his coma. Issei. It feels like a fever dream. Hey Drake, no response, since even the boosted gear is broken. Oh right, he is dead. How long was I passed out? Where is everyone? Nurse. You have been asleep for months, Mr. Haidu. You have had severe injuries and blood loss. This triggered a coma due to the shock received on the brain and due to emotional trauma. It is actually a miracle that you even woke up. It seems that your dragon physiology is much stronger than I anticipated. As for your second question, Miss Gremory and her peerage stopped seeing you after weeks of your initial comatose. Only one person visited you on a daily basis. Azazel, the governor of the fallen angels. He still believed you would wake up. Issei. At least he still cares. As for the others, I understand why they didn't visit me. They must be still fighting that Lucifer, the one who took my parents. Where is Asia Argento? Nurse. Unlike you, who has woken up, she is still in coma. Her wounds were not only far worse than yours, but also she does not have a strong body like you do. Issei could see that a woman is on life support. This is Asia Argento, who was bandaged on her head. She could still see her struggling for her life. Her sacred gear Twilight Healing barely managing to keep its host alive. She is still wrapped on bandages and casts due to her injuries. Issei could only tear up at the sight of her friend and foster sister in bandages. He wished if the others at least visited her than him. Nurse. Should I call someone from home to pick you up? Issei. No thanks, I will see myself out since I am at least able to walk normally. But that Issei decides to head to his house in Kuo. Little does our chestnut know that he is in for the biggest shock of his life. As you can see, Riaz and the other GIRLs except Asia have stopped caring for him. Even the faction LEADERS except Azazel has not cared him, especially Surziches. Furthermore, none of them even visited Issei or Asia when they were in the hospital, and they just went doing whatever they wanted to do. As for the girls, they have been cheating behind our chestnut hero with other men. Issei. Finally reached home. I wonder what the girls are doing. With a lecherous face, I hope I can see Butchu's oppai tonight, or maybe even Akeno-san's oppai. Ah. Hard air. Issei. Isn't that Ria's voice? Why is she moaning? Does she miss me that much that she is watching porn? Riaz. Slow down, I don't think I can keep it longer. Oh Riaz, I am still full of stamina, I can do this all day. Issei. Wait, that voice sounds familiar, it can't be. Issei opens the door and puts on the light. He gets the shock of his life. His girlfriend fiancé is cheating on none other than his brother by bond Udo Kiba. Riaz. Wait, who put on the light? Dazed Issei. Kiba. Bro, this is not what it looks like. Issei. In a monotone voice, Riaz, is this what you were doing while I was away? You were ing another man, the one who I used to call brother. I cannot believe you too. I thought I would surprise you home, that you would be happy to see me woken up just like you did when I was presumed dead. An. This happens in the demonic beast riot, whereas Issei is killed by Samuel's poison, but is revived thanks to Great Rat in office, fusing his powers to create a new body for Issei. Thus making him a pseudo-dragon god. But I was wrong, dead wrong. I will see myself out. Riaz. Issei, wait. Let me explain. Issei. No, I do not want to listen to your half-ass excuses and lies. I have had enough of everything. Now Issei fires a dragon shot but makes it miss, but ends up creating a hole. Do not bother me ever again. Riaz. No, please wait. Issei flies off out of rage and grief due to Ria's betrayal, but little does Issei know that not only Riaz has betrayed him, but the other girls as well as faction leaders have done the same, except Azazel and Asia. Over time Issei hears that the other girls have also been cheating on him. Adding insult to injury, the girls kept on demeaning him with insults like worthless, pervert, scumbag, enemy of women, weak, etc. Even his childhood friend Irina not only cheats on him with a lookalike but also demeans him behind his back. Eventually Issei goes to the faction leaders. Azazel is overjoyed to see his surrogate son awake but is deeply angered at what the orc members did. Azazel. I am really sorry Issei, I could not help when you needed me the most. Issei. It's okay sensei, it is not your fault. Devil. Can Issei-sama and Azazel-sama come to the meeting right now? At the faction meeting Issei could see Surziches, Serafal, Michael, Yusaka and their guards around them. To say they were surprised would be an understatement, they did not know that the chestnut would wake up from their coma. Even the volley team, Ria's and Sona Citri's purge was present. Surziches. Issei Haidu, since Drake has died and you are no longer the Red Dragon Emperor. I therefore declare you out of the Team Dxd. You are no longer of any use to us. Both Azazel and Issei were in shock, Azazel was still not aware that the faction leaders have kicked Issei behind his back. He would have definitely tried to stop them. Issei at this point is still pretty strong even without the boosted gear, like he can easily hold his own against Surziches because of his dragon physiology. But now he is currently mentally unstable. So he will not be able to think tactfully. Isaka. The Devil King is right since you are now useless, you are therefore not needed in the Team Dxd, you are even going to be kicked out of the alliance, since we do not need a worthless dragon. Furthermore you will also be kicked out from the Ria's Gremory Peerage. You are no longer needed here. Issei was utterly shocked, he saved the Fox leader from the hero faction from Cao Cao and the hero faction, as if it wasn't for his efforts, Yusaka would have been nothing but a slave for the Cow's brigade. Azazel was utterly disgusted with the actions of both Surziches and Yusaka. He would not be surprised if the Gremory, Citri and even the Yokai would have betrayed him. Although he knew Michael would not turn on him since he would have fallen. True to his thought Michael did not betray him, he was forced to play along with both Surziches and Yusaka since they threatened his faction. Michael. I am sorry Issei, there is nothing I could have done. If I did not accept they would have. Michael tries to continue, but a glare from Surziches shuts him up. Issei tried to look at Riaz for help, but she only taunted and mocked him even further. Riaz. Big brother is right, you are of no use to us anymore Ice. You are therefore kicked out from the team. I only revived you cause you had a good sacred gear, else I would not have even cared or revived you. You really are pathetic. Akeno. She is right, to think I liked you I only saw you as a pervert, nothing less nothing more. You now mean nothing to us, you are worthless. Kaneko. You are worthless and an enemy of all women. You were always a pervert. I was only tolerating you because of your sacred gear. The punches and injuries were all true I always hated you very existence. You never meant anything to me. Kiba. I never saw you as a brother, you were always an embarrassment due to your perversion, although I appreciate your help for my past. You did nothing but not only affect our and our club's reputation, but also affected our nature because of what you were doing. Zenobia. I only needed you because you were the Red Dragon Emperor, but since you no longer have the gear. I do not need weak children. Irina. I only befriended you out of desperation since you did not have much friends, I actually thought there was something between us, but there is nothing. You mean nothing to me. Issei felt all those words hit him like a stab in the heart. The people he devoted his time to told him he meant nothing. He helped Akeno with her daddy issues and accepted her fallen side despite struggling with PTSD, thanks to Rainer. He is the reason Kiba did not get consumed by vengeance. Accepted Kaneko's heritage, allowed Zenobia and Irina to pray again and last, but not the least prevented Riaz from ever marrying Riser and having her life be a living hell. Furthermore he is the reason that the orc is still intact like a family otherwise Kiba, Kaneko and Akeno, along with Riaz, would have been Riser's slave for their rest of their lives. Issei started to lose hope, the people he cherished and cared for only cared about him being the Red Dragon Emperor. Azazel had no words for what happened here, he realized he had failed the orc, he knew that there is nothing he could do, he was strong, but not strong enough to take on the alliance, Surziches was strong enough to go toe-to-toe with the fallen angel leader. Serafal. You may be my first friend, but you no longer are, you were only my friend because you were strong, now that you are a weak dragon you mean nothing to me. Now leave this place and never show your face ever again. Riaz. Akeno Kiba hold Issei while I remove his evil pieces. A and K. With pleasure, but you. They hold Issei, but the chestnut showed no resistance, he was still handling the betrayal, but deep down a dark rage, hatred started to brew in him, they used me for their own selfish purposes he thought. It kept on increasing, meanwhile Riaz removed her evil pieces from the dragon's body. Issei screamed in pain as the chest pieces were removed and a gaping wound was been seen. Riaz hurled in disgust with his blood and immediately went to wash her hands along with the pieces. Ali. You were my rival, I am really sorry for what happened to Drake, but I cannot do anything my hands are tied, I am sorry, but we cannot be rivals anymore. I was against all this, but there is nothing I can do to help you. Kuroka. I only needed you for having strong children, but that cannot happen therefore, I am also not gonna need you in my life anymore, you meant nothing to me. Sona. Do not worry about your admission as Kuo Academy, you have been expelled from there. I was wanting to expel you from the academy myself, but I could not do it, plus your perversion is a good reason for your expulsion. You do not need to come to the academy anymore. Plus most students and teachers would be overjoyed by the expulsion. Saji. You heard my master, you are no longer welcome here, you can leave. If I ever see you again I will personally kick you out and injure you myself. All the other members of Sona's Peerage and Team Volley agree with their master leader's decision, none of them dared to feel pity or tried to help the chestnut since they would be killed without a second thought. Most of them didn't like Issei because of his perversion. But some of them wanted to help him genuinely. Azazel was in complete shock, although he was happy that Volley didn't turn his back on him. The others did, especially the Volley team and Sona and her peerage. Issei was still trying to process all of this, the rage and hate were really starting to increase and it only needed one spark to explode. Meanwhile, all the girls had called their boyfriends and were making out, Riaz herself was making out with Kiba. Saji was doing it with Sona. Azazel looked at the entire scene in disgust. Pervert. Enemy of women. Worthless. Pathetic. Idiot. Riaz then stopped and walked to Issei. Riaz. I should have never revived you Haidu, you were always weak just like your pathetic parents. That's why they died. That did it, Issei finally snapped, his aura started to increase dramatically, thus causing the entire alliance to fear him. He lunged at Riaz punching her face, followed by grabbing her hair and using his talons to cut her hair. Riaz screamed in terror and pain as she saw her hair on the floor and with a quick swing she was sent flying to the wall. Issei. You really are a hypocrite Riaz, you wanted me to call you by your name and you didn't want me to see you as Buchu. But here you are always seeing me as the Red Dragon Emperor. You didn't want people to view you as a title or a trophy. Yet you viewed me as a title. You really are pathetic and disgraceful to the title of noble. In response the whole peerage and arena tried to attack Issei, Akeno used her lightning, Kiba used his swords, and Kaneko tried to punch him. But they did nothing to slow down Issei's onslaught as he easily evaded Kaneko's punches with a sidestep and gave her a roundhouse kick to the face, sending her flying to Akeno with a direct hit, sending both of them flying to a wall, knocking them out for a while. Kiba tried to use his holy demonic sword and dragon troopers to damage Issei, but it did nothing as he easily destroyed troopers and blocked his sword with a single hand grabbing it and giving him consecutive punches to his ribs, stomach and face, resulting in several broken bones. Kiba screamed in pain and fear as the once weak former pervert is now looking on to the entire team with fear. Zenobia used her Durandal to attack Issei, but he easily sidestepped and gave a powerful blow to the stomach, breaking her ribsage due to the force thus, knocking her unconscious. Azazel and the boyfriends were looking in shock and terror as Issei's brutality was finally beginning to show. Azazel knew that this is not gonna end well on either side, he wanted to stop Issei, but knew now he has become stronger to crush anyone that stood in his way. Kuroka seeing her sister in injuries tried to attack Issei with her fireballs, but Issei easily evaded with ease. Arena. Die in the name of our dead god. But that Arena used her angel wings and tried to use the Excalibur mimic to try and damage Issei, but this only angered him, as with a quick dodge, he easily moved her behind her and ripped her angel wings, after which he easily broke both her arms which had Excalibur mimic. Blood started to ooze from the place where she had her wings, resulting in tremendous blood loss. Arena. Aya. Issei. You really are pathetic chanting a dead person's name while trying to kill me. Did you forget that I am no longer a devil so holy weapons don't affect me? Now may the dead god forgive you because I won't. But that Issei drags his former childhood friend damaging the furniture in the room. Irina screams in pain as the furniture is not only damaging her, but also due to the excess blood loss. Issei then proceeds to throw her out of the window, dealing several damage to her entire body as glass shrapnel enters into her body. Irina could be seen outside the window with several glass and furniture shards lodged into her body, she was whimpering and unconscious due to the pain and the damage. Kuroka now having enough lunges at Issei using her claws enhanced with Taki, she tried to mortally wound Issei, thus ending his rampage, but this only angered him even more as he easily grabbed her hands, causing Kuroka to view him in shock and fear. He proceeded to push her towards him ripping out her cat ears, Kuroka winced in pain as she was struggling to use her abilities. Issei seeing her in this condition remembered all the times he tried to reunite her with her sister, angering him after being used by the Nekashu. He then proceeded to pummel her endlessly and finally ripping out her cattails and burning it with his fire. Kuroka. Jayahaha. Issei then proceeded to use an energy wave coated with crimson and orange to deal a devastating blow towards Kuroka, burning most of her body but keeping her alive, knocking her out of the fight. Hineko saw her sisters being brutally beaten and tried to use her Shirin form to have a fighting chance against him. Issei in response, lunged at her and coated his arms in fiery red flames, singing her with each single punch, knocking her and severely damaging her body completely. Issei then created a fiery red orb of dragon magic and proceeded to fire at the entire alliance, knocking Biku, Fenrir, and most of Sona Citri's peerage except Saji, Tsubaki and Sona herself. Saji tried to use his absorption line to end Issei's rampage, but was shocked to realize it did not work. Issei then proceeded to deliver a vicious haymaker to the Citri pawn, breaking several bones, blood was flying everywhere, and was not able to even deliver a single punch. Issei then proceeded to fling him over to a defeated Kiba who was now recovering. Kiba. Oh phew. But that both the fighters were once again knocked out cold as Issei proceeded to lunge towards the fox leader Yusaka. Yusaka. You have gone far enough, Issei Haidu, but your rampage ends right here. Right now. She then proceeds to transform into her fox form and uses chakra to try and hurt Issei, thus burning him, but it was not enough to put him down. He proceeds to lunge at her, dodging any fox fire that comes in the way. He grabs her by the hair and drags her around the ground, dealing a severe blow to the hair. She constantly struggled against the dragon's strength, blood smearing on the floor as he proceeds. Issei. Once upon a time I saved you, I admired how you looked, but now I realize the stories were true. Fox yokai are nothing but cold-blooded killers who kill others for their own sadistic pleasure. I wonder how would you look without any tails attached to your body. If I can save you from your death, I can kill you as well. If I can give you life, I can take it away from you as well. Let's see how pain-tolerant you are. But the sadistic smirk on Issei's face, he proceeded to rip apart the tails on Yusaka, thus putting her through extreme pain, after which the dragon proceeded to deliver a powerful haymaker to the fox, breaking a lot of bones in her body. Yusaka tried to scream, but could not because Issei was constantly giving blow after blow. After releasing her due to the vicious beating, Yusaka's body was rendered limp and lifeless. Plus, everyone viewed Issei now in shock and terror as the once friendly and heroic chestnut went too far. Sona and Riaz with their peerages were looking in fear towards their former friend. Vali and Azazel looked in terror as their teammate has been beyond broken and enraged beyond limits. Everyone started to recover as their energies started to increase. Riaz, Akeno and several others braced themselves to fight the enraged dragon. Irina, Kuroka and many others were still knocked out. Issei knowing this prepared himself for the inevitable clash. Issei. Well then, I am ready for round. I am not going to go down without a fight, neither will you capture me alive. I can do this all day. Continuing from the story last time, we see our hero Issei Haidu running towards what seems to be a jungle, away from the town of Kuo. He has scars and is badly wounded thanks to his fight with the faction, but he did manage to deal a severe amount of damage to the faction. Issei. I can't believe they betrayed me like this. Why? Why? What did I do to deserve such treatment? Sure, I was a pervert, but I never harassed or even did something wrong. Why do I deserve this? First my parents are dead, Asia is still in coma, and now I have no one left to help me in damned cursed world. Goddammit. Flashback. Issei is plowing through the faction like it was nothing. Riaz Gremory and her peerage have been badly injured. Yusaka, Kuroka and Irina were unresponsive. Issei was dealing a vicious pummeling to both Sona Citri and her queen Tsubaki Shinra. They were unable to defend themselves from the chestnut's onslaught. When all of a sudden voice was heard from someone unexpected. Divide. Bali had joined the fight trying his best to stop his brother's assault. He used his balance break to try and stop him. Issei being weakened by Vali's sacred gear was unable to keep up with Vali, given that he was exhausted destroying a faction leader and 3 peerages. Azazel had a shocked expression in his face seeing Vali step him. Vali. Issei, you need to stop this, you have been torturing them for long enough, I can't see you like this fighting your former friends, I beg you to please stop. Issei. Vali, do not interfere. You were not the one to lose your sacred gear, you did not see Albion trying to save you while sacrificing his own life for your own good. You did not see your parents die in front of you. Yet here you are siding with the same faction indirectly responsible for their deaths. Asia is in coma and they don't even care in the slightest for her condition. They all brought their demises on themselves when they betrayed, mentally tortured, and finally discarded me when I was completely useless to them. Bali was already nervous in fighting someone who gave him a second chance, now he had no will in fighting him. Yes, he was angry at Issei hurting Kuroka, but at the same time knew that she had done that herself when she provoked and betrayed him. He wanted to at least subdue Issei, but now he did not know what to do. When Vali was thinking, Surziches finally decided to step in and attack Issei with his move Ruin of Extinction. He had an angered look on his face for not only destroying his sister's peerage, but also for destroying his pride and humiliating him in front of everyone. Issei being already weakened could not evade or take on the attack, thus damaging him and putting him out of commission. Surziches. Issei Haidu, you have gone too far with your attacks and not only damaged my world but also my family, now you will pay for your attempt destroying the alliance as well as hurting my dear sister. I will destroy anyone that is against my view of the world as well as my ideology. Did you really think you could defeat all of us? Azazel. Surziches, stop this, don't kill him, he is the reason that the alliance was created and its expansion. Not to mention your sister would have been a slave to Riser and her peerage would have been dead if it wasn't for his actions. Ali. I thought you promised that you would capture and arrest him if I had helped you in capturing him. I didn't think you would turn on me like this. I at least thought you still had honor in you, since he is the reason that we are all still together. But I was wrong, you are no different from RageRevan, the one actually responsible for Drake's death. Surziches. Shut up you two, I don't care anymore about what happens. To me he is nothing but a weak enemy who tried to attack all of us. And Vali, you wanted him dead at some point because of your rivalry with a dragon who is now dead, are you really telling me to not kill him now that he does not have Drake with him? You really are pathetic. Now then Haidu, get ready for your demise in the worst possible way possible. Surziches began to torture Issei using his signature move Ruin of Extinction, dealing severe burns to his entire body. His full body started to disintegrate due to his move killing every single cell in his body, his dragonic body only prolonging his supposed demise. Issei began to scream in pain due to the pod, constantly damaging his body in a slow manner. It was painful, dying in such a slow manner. Surziches began to laugh in a maniacal manner as he tortured his former brother-in-law. Surziches began to laugh in a maniacal manner as he tortured his former brother-in-law. His laughter was stopped by Issei spitting on his face. Issei weakly said while coughing due to the excruciating pain. Issei. You know I respected you, I looked up to you not only as a leader but also as an older brother. But you know what, I was wrong about you, you are a pathetic excuse for leader as well as an older sibling. You do not deserve those titles as they are meant to protect the faction younger from attackers and deliver justice to those that harm them. You did cough all this for what? What did I do? Tell me. All I did was serve you with honor. I did not betray you like a certain someone, but still you not only torture me but also mock me for your own sadistic pleasure. I cannot fight you Atlas, not in this state, but remember this, you better be ready for what comes next, you will learn that your actions have consequences. But that Issei managed to escape, creating a portal to a random location before Surziches could unleash his final attack to kill him. Surziches was furious and had lost all of his patience, his true colors had been exposed to both Vali and Azazel, who looked at him in shame and disgust. He screamed with anger in his voice. Flashback ends. Issei. Oh right, I cannot forget or forgive them for what they have done, but Azazel and Vali are innocent, maybe I will spare them, as for the others, I will never forgive them, especially the Gremory family. They will know the true meaning of suffering. Issei started to tear up as he remembered the moments he had with the orc, with the Gremory family, sacrificing his arm for the woman he once loved, the alliance, the Kyoto trip, the fight with Sayard Bale, the confession, his demise at the hands of Shalba, his revival, his reunion with the orc, saving Valerie, the fight against the exorcists, and finally his fight with RageRevan, the man who took everything away from him. Partner. Issei. Great, now I am hallucinating about Drake. This has taken too much of a toll. I am not dead yet, partner. Issei. Drake, you are still alive, how? Drake. Glad to finally talk to you, as for how am I alive, I ask the past hosts, the ones that are left, that is to merge my consciousness with yours, an. If you are wondering about the ones that are left, is because a huge chunk of the past host's consciousness was sacrificed in order to revive Issei after his death in the aftermath of his fight with Shalba. It feels good to be finally free of the boosted gear, not only you have the powers of both Great Red and Office, but you also now have my powers as well. Issei. Drake. Partner, I know what the faction leaders did, how could they betray you after everything you did for them, after all of your sacrifices? Even that Gremory girl who was supposed to stand with you until the very end turned her back on you, along with the knight, the crow, the brain-dead knight and the angel. Drake. Not to mention your actions resulted in the Yokai faction serving, the creation of the alliance, you have defeated threats like evil dragons, kept up with Crom Crouch, befriended Office and Great Red. They will pay for their actions with their life. Issei. In a teary voice, I cannot believe that you are still alive, and even more so you are still on my side after everything they did to me. I don't know what to say, thank you for everything, Drake. Drake. You were my best partner, not only did you become strong to protect the people you care about, but you were the first person who saw me as a person and not as a tool for someone to use and discard. Even though you gave me the nickname of Op-Eye Dragon, you still cared for me when I cried hearing that word, you were always there for me as a friend and brother and did not discard me when I was the lowest. Issei. Thank you, Drake. Thank you so much. I hope you have not forgotten us. Hey hatchling, how are you doing? Issei recognized those voices. He turned around and saw a 100-meter-long dragon, along with a lowly girl dressed in gothic fashion. They were none other than Office and Great Red, the Ouroboros and the True Dragon respectively. Issei. Office, Great Red, it is good to see you, at least there are some people that still care for me. Great Red. What's wrong hatchling? Office. Yeah, I do not see your friends or anyone from the faction leader around you, plus you do not have the aura of a devil. Issei. Some friends they are. Great Red. What happened, why are they not around you and what did you mean by that? Issei then explained to everyone what had happened, he even showed his wounds and a recording as further proof to tell them. To say they were angry would be an understatement, they were livid. Great Red roared in anger. Office on the other hand kept a neutral expression, but was giving an aura of bloodlust. Office. So what are you gonna do now, brother? Office added a monotone voice, but everyone present knew that she was furious. Issei knew that if they were let loose they would destroy everything. Issei. Don't worry Office, Great Red, I am going to take vengeance for everything they have done. Azazel, Vali, Gaspar and Roswiis are innocent, but if they get in my way, they will be destroyed as well. As for the others, no one will escape. Great Red. If you ever need us hatchling, don't hesitate to call us, we will be ready to help you. Office. I would love to beat down that super devil. Before both Great Red and Office could leave, all three of them were teleported to another dimension. There they saw something so terrifying that they froze. Hello, there. Issei. What, where am I? Issei could see that he was in a dimension where the beast 666 was being imprisoned. It had the appearance of large beast with characteristics coming from different animals like a lion, a leopard, a bear, a dragon, etc. It has 7 necks, 7 heads, with 10 horns, as well as 7 long thick tails of different shapes. It also has 4 stout arms and 2 legs that are even thicker than its arms. Its main body is that of a primate leaning forward and is covered in black fur and what appears to be scales all over its body. Its size is well over several hundred meters, making it significantly larger than even Great Red. Office. What do you want from us, Trihiksa? Trihiksa. Do not worry, I mean you three no harm, actually I was planning to only bring Issei to my dimension, but you two came along with me. And even though in canon Trihiksa is confirmed to exist only to destroy, it has a well-built consciousness, like it was able to take interest in Issei Haidu when he had Great Red and Office's power, even more so it was able to divide its body to deal with the different factions during the arc. Furthermore, it is assumed to be instinctively homicidal, that does not mean it is homicidal. Issei. So why am I here? Trihiksa. Well, I wanted to tell you what that damn RageRevan's plan is. He wanted to use the Sephiroth Grawl from the vampire in order to release me, as it possesses the ability to come into contact with the principle of life in order to try and control me and use me as a war beast to destroy everything. Issei knew about 666's abilities and knew how destructive they are, even though at first he was angry hearing the name of his parents' murderer. He knew that if he got his hands on the beast, everything will be destroyed. Great Red. So what do you want us to do? Trihiksa. I was planning to merge myself with the boy so that he can put a stop to the madman's plan. This would also help him with his vengeance against the one who turned their backs on him. It will be painful, but you will be much stronger than you were before. This was a tempting offer for the chestnut. Not every day does the strongest being in the universe, but also he would be able to get back on the people that turned his back on him just cause he lost Drake. Issei. Drake, what should I do? Drake. If I were you I would have taken up the offer. I mean, it is not like Trihiksa would give such an offer. Issei. Yeah, I think you are right. Drake. Plus we have nothing left to lose. Issei. Alright, let's do this. Issei was in his thoughts when Great Red roared. Great Red. How do we not know that you are planning to destroy the world? How do you know what happened to Issei while you were sealed? Can we even trust you? Trihiksa. Sarcastically replies, well, I knew of RageRevan's plan, why wouldn't I figure out what his past is, and plus when I merge with Issei, I will have his thoughts and intentions, so I will not destroy everything, plus I am not forcing him to merge with me, it is his choice. Plus cut me some slack, the factions were really annoying with their war. Issei. Alright Trihiksa, I accept your offer. Office and Great Red. Are you sure, Issei? It will be painful. Issei. Guys, I have nothing left to lose. As for the painful part, I have been stabbed with light spears when I was a devil, merged a divine dividing part with me and survived Samuel's blood. This ain't my first rodeo. Both Great Red and Office knew about Samuel's poison, with the latter personally experiencing it due to Cao Cao. They both nodded their head in acceptance. Office and Great Red. Alright big brother hatchling, we trust you. Trihiksa. Are you ready for this, Issei? Issei. Yes, I am. Trihiksa decided to merge with Issei. The process was quite painful, with Issei screaming throughout the entire process. Both Great Red and Office wanted to help, but couldn't since it may trigger an unintended consequence. Issei wanted to pass out due to the pain, but remembered the betrayal of the alliance. That gave him enough determination to survive the entire process. Issei passed out after the process was done. Office rushed to her first friend, showing emotions for the very first time, crying for him. The dragon opens his eyes. Issei. Hey, how long was I out? Office. Baka sniff, please don't die on me. Issei. Don't worry Office, I won't, I will always be there with you. Great Red. So hatchling, how are you feeling? Issei. I feel great, kinda powerful, now I think I am ready for what needs to be done next. All three of them were teleported outside the dimension back to where they were. Great Red. I know you are strong, but if things go south, call us, we would be happy to help you in your crusade. Office. Yeah, and I would enjoy breaking several bones. Issei. Don't worry guys, I will call you. Meanwhile back at the Alliance. Surziches had lied to the angels, devils, yokai as well as the Norse and Greek faction about Issei's betrayal and death. Most of them were shocked to say the least. The children were devastated that their hero fell to the dark side. Milikas and Kunu were hit the hardest. The brother they looked up to injured their aunt-mother in such a brutal manner. Several of them didn't believe what Surziches said, they felt he was hiding something, especially Kunu and Milikas found something fishy, but did not want to go against their parents. Grafia, Sayerg, Riser were shocked as well as their brother betrayed them so badly. Grafia felt like crying. Sayerg and Riser clenched their fists and punched the ground. They felt that something was wrong in the situation. Grafia wanted to believe her master and husband, but knew that he was hiding something. As for the orc, only Akeno and Zenobia were conscious, the others were still being treated for their wounds. Rias along with Kaneko were in their worst affected state since they were singed by Issei's abilities. Roswies and Gasper did not believe what Issei did with the latter, finding it quite disturbing to even think that Issei would turn their back on them without a reason. Both of them refused to believe in Issei's death. Isaka was still in a coma due to the brutality of Issei's assault on her. Several doctors assumed that she is not gonna wake up anytime soon. The Yokai Faction except Kunu immediately believed that Issei betrayed them and turned their backs on them. Kunu wanted to investigate the reason behind Issei's betrayal and death before jumping to conclusions. Irina was still being healed, the glass and furniture shards being hard to remove from her body by the angel healer Raphael. She was still unconscious. Michael could only look at her in disgust and pity as she turned on her childhood friend. Michael. She is responsible for her own fate. The volley team was still fine. Arthur, Volley and Fenrir were the only conscious ones on team, with the others being knocked out, healing for their wounds. Arthur was furious at what Issei did to his sister. Volley on the other hand was ashamed at himself. He trusted a man who turned his back on his brother and nearly got him killed. He could see Kuroka being escorted to a medical bay as she was in critical condition due to the burns as well as her broken body parts. Volley looked at her in pity. Volley. You brought this on yourself, Kuroka. If you only didn't push him so far you wouldn't be in this condition. You should have stayed at bay and not provoke him when he was at his most angry. I hope this serves as a lesson to not anger a dragon ever again. Even back during the party when you tried to kidnap Kaneko, Issei tried not to kill you. If he wanted to he could have easily killed you for being a stray. You would be in a better shape. He left her in the ward with her injuries being treated. Little did they know that the Cows Brigade will no longer be their biggest threat, but a former friend is gonna attack them. It is the calm before the storm. Continuing from the story last time, Issei successfully merged with Trihiksa, and both Drag and Trihiksa decided to train their host, with the latter mostly focusing on teaching his skills and improving his abilities to match the factions. After a month time skip, Issei has not only mastered all of Drag and Trihiksa's abilities, but also created new ones along with it, no perverted techniques involved. Now our hero is ready for his vengeance against the factions. We see our hero Issei Haidu resting after fighting the Citri peerage, happy with their fate. Issei has taken vengeance against them, leading to their complete annihilation. Issei also managed to gain the absorption line after torturing and killing the Citri Ponge and Shirosagi. He was pretty content since he wasn't that brutal compared to what he was gonna do too with the Gremory peerage and the others, since they only rebuked him. Issei. That felt good. Dealing with that prideful Sona Citri was the best part of my vengeance. As for the others, they weren't much of a challenge. Saji was stupid to think he could keep up with me, he wasn't able to even land a single hit on me. Although I may miss the guy, since we were fellow pawns, but I won't show any of the traitors mercy. They will be getting what they deserve for their betrayal. Greg. You sure as hell taught them a lesson, let's hope that in their next life, they will not be as stupid as they are. Also your assault on them sent a clear message that the Red Dragon Emperor is back. Trihiksa. I agree with Drake, although I am disappointed at the others for their weakness. I mean they died against our first attack. I am impressed with the resilience the pawn showed, even after getting his ass handed to him. I really enjoyed their screams when they were in pain after you trashed them. I enjoyed the fear and hate in their faces after realizing that you were still alive. An. Even though Trahexa is merged with Issei, he still has the instinctiveness of destroying everything. The only difference is that he now is able to rationally think, thus reducing his desire for destruction by a significant amount. Still, you are a sadist, aren't you, Trahexa? Trahexa? Oh, shut it, Vitra, don't deny that you are happy to be rid from being a slave to the Citri family, plus even you enjoyed their screams. Dreg. Perks of being an evil dragon. Vitra. Sigh, I guess you are right, Trahexa. I still have the perks of an evil dragon. I am mostly happy to be rid of being a slave to that Y-pawn and his prideful master. Flashback. The Citri peerage decided to investigate an aura familiar to that of the Red Dragon Emperor, even though Sona felt that it was a bad idea. Serafal and Surziches convinced her to recruit this new being in existence. Little did they know that this would be their biggest mistake, costing their lives. The being, on sensing their presence, immediately attacked them with an immense power blast, wiping out and killing most of the Citri peerage, except Saji, Tsubaki and Sona, the latter being protected by Tsubaki's sacred gear Mirror Alice. Saji had severe burns on his body, but was still able to stand up ready to capture this being. Sona. Nuo. Momo, Tsubasa, Ria, Tomo, Hiroko, Benya. Sona tears up at the sight of her whole peerage being almost murdered. She then notices Saji, her only pawn left. She started to get afraid and angry towards whoever did this to her peerage. Sona. Concerned, Saji, are you okay? Saji. I can still fight, Kaicho. Tsubaki. Whoever you are, show yourself, you cold-blooded murder. Out in front of the trees they could see a being donning a familiar red armor. They instantly recognized the armor to be that of the Red Dragon Emperor. They started to get a familiar feeling of knowing who this unknown being is. An. Credit to Google for all images. Geez, will you stop showing your cold demeanor for once, Fuko Kaicho? They froze on hearing this. They realized that the voice belonged to someone, belonged to the person that they once called a friend, an ally. The one that has been dead for months, yet he has been dead for months. Their faces now showed fear, the one they felt 2 months ago when a certain dragon was killed in cold blood. Sona. No, it can't be. You still don't recognize me, Kaicho. The being removes his helmet and a familiar face of none other than Issei Haidu is seen by the trio, except his appearance has been altered. Instead of having brown hair and eyes, he instead has black with red tinges, as well as a reddish-brown eyes. He has a scar on his face due to Trahexa's training. Saji. Haidu, you are alive. How dare you kill my teammates in cold blood? Sona. You will pay for what you did to my team, Haidu. I will avenge my peerage's demise by murdering you in cold blood. Issei. Oh Sona, the blast which I used wasn't even % of my power. I thought you were smarter than this. I guess I was wrong. You disappoint me. Sona. Alright, that's it. Saji, get him and make sure it is painful. Saji. With pleasure, Kaicho. Saji lunges at the former Grimory pawn with all his strength, but easily sidestepped and applied a point-blank dragon shot to his chest. Saji coughed up saliva and was sent flying. He tried to attack Issei again, but was outmatched by the dragon. In response, Issei started giving him a vicious haymaker. Saji broke all his bones and was unable to move even an inch. Issei then summoned Ascalon, cutting Saji's flesh, making his skin burn. Saji screamed in pain and terror, as this was the same incident that caused him nightmares for days and weeks. Issei then flung him to the sky, dealing massive uppercut, breaking his jawbone. Saji. Jaya. It hurts, it hurts. How are you this strong? You are even more stronger than you were supposed to be. Issei. I have been training and unlike you I have not been slacking off. Saji, hearing this, decided to use his absorption line in order to suck out his power. Greg. What an idiot he is, it didn't work last time, what makes him think it would work now? Issei. You just did exactly what I wanted. Hey Vitra. Vitra. What do you want, Sekiryuite? Issei. Well, I have an offer for you. I want you to join my side, help me against my vengeance. When Saji used his absorption line on me, I saw what you wanted. You wanted to be free of Saji. He was not treating you with respect, or even like a person. He only saw you as a tool. I will not treat you the way he does. I want to form an alliance with you. Greg. Partner is right, look at me, I was always used as a tool, but when Issei came along he is the first to ask me for power, rather than use me as a tool. Vitra knew that Issei and Drake were telling the truth. Saji never trained, he never got strong, he only trained because of that prideful master, else he never did train. He thought his beatdown at the hands of the Sekiryuite will teach him a lesson, but it didn't. He started to slack off even more. Furthermore, even after being requested by him, Saji just shot down Vitra requests without even hearing them, he only saw them as a tool. He was so weak that he didn't even lay a takedown any threat and even lost miserably to Yusaka while he was trying to save her from the hero faction. He has not even unlocked his balance breaker yet while Issei unlocked his months ago. Bitra. I accept your offer, but in order to obtain my gears, you have to kill my current host. Issei. Consider it done, my Dragon King. Saji was seeing red, he didn't realize Vitra would turn his back on him. He began to blame Issei for taking Vitra away from him. Sona and Tsubaki were in complete shock, they tried to escape using a magic portal, but something was disrupting their magic circles. Issei. Don't even think about escaping from the portal, I have created a force field that prevents you from escaping, it is similar to the gates of hell, it lets you enter, but it doesn't allow you to escape. Saji. Damn you traitor. How did you get this strong? Issei. How about instead of telling you I show you? Issei shows his training methods, as well as his merging with Drake and Trihixa, along with their intense training on him. Saji. I am Ed, aren't I? Issei. Right in the down under, Welsh dragon flare. Issei unleashed an intense firestorm utterly burning the entire arena, despite being way weakened to reduce the damage, it was still enough to kill the pawn. Saji died screaming and cursing Issei Haidu before being reduced to nothing but ashes. All 3 sacred gears were there where Saji was once standing. Issei then incorporated all 3 sacred gears into his body. Sona and Tsubaki started to realize their fate, they knew that Issei is gonna give them a miserable demise. They looked at the dragon with fear and hatred. They knew that there was nothing he could do. Before they could react, Issei killed Tsubaki using Ascalon before she could even react. Sona. Nuo. Tsubaki. Sona's eyes had dried out due to the tears she shed considering her entire peerage's demise, she knew what came next. Sona. Just finish the job, Haidu, I don't have a reason to live. Issei. Normally I would love to keep you alive after considering how little you cared for me, but I unfortunately cannot do so. I cannot reveal my existence to the factions, Atlas not yet, but do not worry, I will give you a painless death. Extinction ray. Sona closed her eyes as she knew her death was inevitable, at the very least she would be given peace in the afterlife. Flashback ends. Issei. I will be honest, I feel bad that I went too far, I knew they deserved this, I wanted vengeance, but I am kin to having second thoughts of doing this. An. Now you must be wondering why Issei said this, it is because he is still the kind-hearted man we all know, I mean he may be a pervert, but he has never took advantage of women. It is just that in this AU the alliance has pushed him to such an extent that he has been completely broken and vengeful due to the betrayal of the alliance. Greg. It just shows that you haven't changed, you are still the kind-hearted host that I grew to respect, you haven't changed at all. Vitra. Drake is right, your thoughts are still the same, you are still a man that would go to any lengths to protect the people you care for, your thoughts are the proof that you have not been consumed by hatred, I mean when you used Drake's ability you made sure to reduce the intensity to reduce the damage of your surroundings. Trihixa. I never thought I would be saying this, but I am happy that I merged with you, you are the only person that has seen me beyond being this destructive entity in the training of months, I will follow you to the end, and I will be eternally grateful for helping me being released from that damn prison. Issei. Thank you guys for sticking with me and for saying all this, now let's go and celebrate our victory. Old dragons agreed and roared in joy, they all wanted to go and have ramen in a nearby noodle shop, they ate to their heart's content. Meanwhile with the alliance. It is a pretty grim day for the devils as the Sona Citri, heiress of the Citri along with her peerage, had been killed in just a single night. Several devil scouts had found body parts of the team lying around at the scene where the battle took place, while Issei was away enjoying with the dragons. A funeral was being held for the deceased with only Sona's hand being found. A woman's cry could be heard throughout the funeral hall, this was Seraphol Leviathan, sister of the deceased Sona Citri. Seraphol. In a crying manner, Nuo Sona-chan, you cannot leave me like this, all alone in this world, what would I do without you, continues to weep. Both Lady and Lord Citri were crying for the loss of their daughter, they never found out who did such an heinous act, they weren't aware of what their daughters did, or the Mao's betrayal towards Issei, the Red Dragon Emperor. Ria's also teared up at the grim sight of her friend in such a brutal condition, she wondered who could it be who had such a vendetta against her and her peerage, she could only think about one person, her ex-fiancé Issei Haidu, but assumed that like the others he was dead, over the months she started to feel guilty about what she did to Issei, she started to miss him, but knew that if he was alive, he would never forgive her. Now she is regretting turning her back on him. As for the other members of Ria's peerage, they were all shocked, Akeno was hit the hardest since Sona and Tsubaki were pretty close friends of hers, this didn't make it any better as her father no longer talks to her since a few weeks ago because of her cheating and turning on the man that gave her everything she would have wanted. She wanted to weep thinking about those memories. Flashback. Erekiel. Azazel told me everything. I can't believe you would betray him in such a manner, after everything he has done for you. He is the reason that you have been happy for so long, that you have accepted me, after what you went through because of your mother's demise. You have gotten over your fear of your fallen angel blood cause of him, damn it. Akeno. I didn't mean to. Barakiel. Do not talk to me, Akeno. From here on out I am not gonna talk to you. I still can't believe you would do such a damn thing. Your mother would be so ashamed of what you have done. Akeno. No, please. Barakiel. Silence, brat. Barakiel had raised his aura dousing Akeno's. He then flew away since he could not hurt his daughter. An. I didn't make Barakiel disown his daughter because he still loves her, because she is his only family left, plus I am not that cruel. Flashback ends. Even Surzich's, Saerg and Riser along with their peerages were also disturbed at the grim sight. Surzich's refused to believe that Issei is still alive, as he made sure that the blast would kill him. Surzich's eventually calls Riaz and her peerage to his office. He also calls Vali and his team to investigate what happened in the forest, and who is this being that killed Sona and her peerage. Surzich's. Now you know why I have called you here. I would like you to investigate the area where the fight could happen, since this would be a very powerful ally if they could join us. If they refuse to join us, do not hesitate to kill this man. Vali. But isn't going to that forest suicide? I mean, you saw how brutally they were killed in the forest. The scouting party was lucky since he was not present. Surzich's. I know this is a bad idea, but I need to take a risk. We need a strong person to lead the alliance to victory, since we killed Issei Haidu, so we need someone much stronger than him to recreate the alliance to its former glory. The Norse and the Greek faction have cut ties with us. The Yokai faction leader is still in coma due to her injuries. Even Kuroka and Kiba have not awoken from their comas. Riaz. Alright, big brother, we accept your offer to go and scout for this powerful individual. I may even try to torture him since he killed my best friend so brutally. Surzich's. Do what you must, Riaz, but I want him on my side or dead. They all leave for the forest by sundown. Meanwhile with Issei. Issei knew that a scouting party had come since the body parts were missing. Even the dragons realized what had happened. They decided to make haste with their plan, so that the faction leaders don't realize he was still alive. He decided to fulfill Trihix's request of killing RageRevan. He heads towards Agar's where the Klippath's base of operations were. He easily kills all the soldiers and guards that are guarding the area. Even evil dragons like Layden, Yamada no Urachi and Nidhogre couldn't stand a chance against him, since he easily plowed through the 3 dragons like it was nothing. All 3 dragons. How are you this strong? Issei. Unlike you guys, I trained with some special beings, so I am much stronger than any of you 3. Layden. We are willing to side with you, please help us, save us. Issei. Well, I will be sparing you, Layden. As for the other 2, I have no intention of sparing 2 mindless beasts. Issei uses a Kai blast, killing both Yamada no Urachi and Nidhogre with ease. He and Layden then proceed to confront the man responsible for the death of not only countless people, but also Issei's parents RageRevan, Live and Lucifer. Issei sees RageRevan waiting for him along with his ally Daihauser Belial. Issei gritted at the sight of the man who killed his parents, as well as Daihauser, the man he once looked up to, when he was once the pawn of Ria's Gremory. Issei and Layden prepared themselves to fight against the Super Devil and the raiding game champion. RageRevan. Well, what do we have here? Issei. Rizevim. Issei said that name in venom. RageRevan. Wait, it can't be. Issei-kun, is that you? You have become really powerful. I never knew you could be such a threat to the alliance. After all, you are the mysterious being, aren't you? The one the faction leaders want to know so desperately about. RageRevan said in a pleasing tone. He also wanted to recruit this mysterious being. Issei could only grit his teeth in response to what this megalomaniac told about him. But he kept his anger in check because he knows that RageRevan was manipulating him for his own benefit. Issei. You know me too well, it seems like. RageRevan. I have an offer for you, Issei-kun. How about you join us? Together we both can deal with the factions. They wouldn't stand a chance against us. Issei. Counter offer. Surrender yourself to the factions or die a miserable death. RageRevan. It looks like we are at an impasse, then Issei-kun. Issei. Let's fight already. Issei lunges at RageRevan, who was expecting to activate his sacred gear canceller, but the Super Devil was shocked when he realized that the gear was not working. In response, Issei smirked, angering the Super Devil. He then proceeded to deal a vicious haymaker to RageRevan, who was barely able to counter the dragon's attacks. He tried to use his magic, which actually managed to push Issei back by a little bit. RageRevan. I am amazed at your strength. You not only have become stronger, Issei-kun, but also more resilient and tactful in your approach, but it is not gonna be enough to kill me once and for all, ha 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 ha. Issei. Well, let's turn up things to a notch them, shall we? You have only been facing me at % of my power. RageRevan got angry at the fact that Issei underestimated him. He decided to lose himself into anger, given the prideful devil he is, but Issei was prepared against the man who took everything away from him. He coated his fist with a rainbow color and proceeded to keep up with the super devil's assaults. He then proceeded to rip apart one of RageRevan's arms, who screamed in pain and agony, as Issei was easily able to overwhelm the super devil with almost very little strength. He decided to use some phoenix tears to heal himself up from the damage. Issei, would you stop using the tears and fight fair? RageRevan. Hello. Terrorist here. Issei. Soon to be dead one. Issei was constantly getting annoyed with the constant regeneration and the barrage of attacks he was throwing. Issei easily dodged all of them and easily countered the super devil with a block and a direct punch to the face. An. Replace the fighters with both Issei and RageRevan does not dodge the attack. RageRevan was starting to get tired from Issei's attacks. He was also running out of phoenix tears and was proceeded to get brutalized with constant attacks from Issei. Issei left no opportunities for RageRevan to recover since he was brutally beating him, breaking every single bone in his body. Eventually, RageRevan was on the ground bloody and beaten due to the vicious onslaught by Issei Haidu. He could not keep up with him anymore and he collapsed due to exhaustion and pain in his body. Issei. Congratulations RageRevan, you made me use only 0% of my power, you should be proud. RageRevan could only gasp at Issei's revelation. He knew that he couldn't do anything to stop Issei. He looked at him in fear. Issei then used a beam of light, immediately killing him. RageRevan. You fool, killing me will only release the beast, now no one can stop the beast, ha 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 ha. Issei. Allow me to introduce to someone. Trihiksa. Hello RageRevan. RageRevan. No, it can't be. Issei. Yes, it is RageRevan, the one you are talking to is Trihiksa. We knew of your plan to use the Grail to control him, so we had something planned for you. Trihiksa merged with me so that he would not only be free from the sealed prison, but also he would foil your plan of conquering the world. RageRevan. Damn you Issei, damn you. Issei. Now beg an extinction sphere. RageRevan screamed as the sphere closed in on Issei, killing him in the most painful way possible. Issei felt at peace as the murderer of his parents has finally been avenged. He wanted to rest for a while when he heard Layton calling for him. Apparently he had already managed to defeat Dihauser with ease, given that his evil dragon physiology allowed him to tank all of his physical attacks. The former champion had surrendered himself to the dragon. Dihauser explained the reason why he turned on the factions, understanding the same thing he went through due to them finding out that his sister found the existence of the King Peace, and therefore he turned on the devils. Issei understood the reasoning behind what he did and asked whether he would join his crusade against the devils. When the champion asked why, Issei told him everything. Dihauser was pissed and disgusted at far the alliance had fallen. Dihauser. I am with you Issei, I heard what Surziches did to you and I accept that we need to deal with him before it is too late. I will help you in your vengeance. Issei. Thank you Dihauser. Layton, what are you gonna do next? Are you gonna join me or be free? Layton. Being free is not an option as I would be hunted by the factions, so I might as well stay in the Cows Brigade. Over time the Killapath and the Cows Brigade accepted the mysterious being as their leader. RageRevan's true intentions were revealed, causing everyone to turn on him and accept this mystery man as their leader. Issei asked both Dihauser and Layton to not reveal his identity to anyone, which they accepted. Eventually the factions got to know about this and gave up on him, and he was deemed as the new number threat to the existence of the alliance. A lot of the supernatural started to give up and fear this mysterious leader since he single-handedly destroyed RageRevan. Surziches and the other leaders deemed him as a terrorist, and the one who would reveal the identity would be rewarded. Continuing from our story from last time, we see that our hero Issei became the Cows Brigade leader. His presence as the mysterious being shocked everyone and most of all the factions who desperately wanted to recruit him into their ranks because of his dangerous amount of aura and his abilities. Meanwhile at the factions, we can see the factions including Azazel and Auden gathering around to discuss on how to deal with the Cows Brigade. After a new and powerful leader had been elected, they realized they needed to deal with this new threat before it is too late. They knew on how dangerous he was since he single-handedly killed the entire Citri peerage, as well as killing RageRevan. Surziches. You know for what I have called you for right. I am grateful for all you appearing to help in this situation, especially Azazel and Auden. Both Azazel and Auden only gritted their teeth in response to the Devil King's statement. They knew what he did, turned his back on someone who gave them a reason for existing, someone who would have given his life to protect the alliance, someone who would sacrifice anything just to see his loved ones alive. Azazel particularly despised Surziches for killing his surrogate son. The only reason he was here is because the new leader of the Cows Brigade was a sort of a threat. He was happy that RageRevan was killed by him, but at the same time he didn't know what his intentions were. As for Auden, he was informed by Azazel about the leader's actions, even he was livid at what they did but kept it controlled, given that he did not want to ruin their relations with the faction leaders. Yusaka had awoken from her coma after being brutally beaten by Issei and was happy that the dragon is dead. Azazel. Don't Surziches, the only reason we are here is because of this underlying threat that has appeared, otherwise I and Auden would have never even shown up to this meeting to meet you ever again. Auden agreed with Azazel's statement. Surziches was angry that his pride was hurt but kept quiet. Yusaka. So what is the plan, how are we gonna identify this being? Auden. He has a pattern in his actions, he is taking vengeance from everyone that has hurt Issei or his relatives, first Sona and her peerage, and then finally that damn super devil RageRevan Lucifer. He also didn't attack the scouting party when they investigating what had happened there. Azazel. Auden is right, RageRevan took away his parents from him just like he made Vali's childhood a living nightmare, and as for Sona, she kicked him out of the school, along with Saji, who not only threatened him, but also attacked him. Serafal. Don't mention that being in front of me, he is the reason my Sotan is dead. I will take my vengeance. Azazel. She was responsible for her own fate, she betrayed Issei just like you did, she listened to you blindly, without knowing that her actions had consequences, she is the only one to be blamed. Serafal was angered at the fallen angel governor's statement, but had kept her mouth shut as she could not do anything, she was nowhere as strong as RageRevan, and this unknown being who single-handedly killed him. Surziches. Guys, stop fighting, we have a problem to deal with. Michael. Surziches is right, we need to deal with him before it is too late. Surziches. I have a plan, I already told Riaz and her peerage to go to the Aguirre Stadium to investigate against the mystery leader. I am pretty sure even without Issei, they are at least strong enough to find the mystery person's identity. Azazel. Don't be stupid Surziches, sending Riaz and her team to investigate is a suicide, I managed to convince Vali to not go to that area, remember what happened with Sona Citri and her team, when she was sent to investigate the area they were all killed by that being. Surziches. I am confident in my sister's abilities to at least investigate this being. If not, she can easily teleport out of there if things go south or if the Cows Brigade finds out about us. Azazel tried to say something, but realized that all suggestions would be ignored by the Devil King. He didn't listen when he tried to convince both Serafal and Surziches to not send the Citri peerage to investigate the area alone. He knew how deadly the area was because of its dangerous aura. He decided it is better if the devil gets his pride crushed when he realizes that he not only underestimated the being, but also he may end up nearly losing his sister in the process. Auden and Michael tried to convince Surziches to not send Riaz and her team alone, but even they were unable to convince Surziches. They eventually gave up and both decided to return home. Little did they know that Michael was gonna receive a shock of his life. While Michael was away, the Cows Brigade attacked Heaven, killing several low and mid-class angels while they were defending Heaven and managed to capture its intended target. The leader of the Cows Brigade even managed to severely wound Dulio, Michael's Joker, towards the brink of death. Michael was shocked and disturbed when he saw the grim side of dead angels, as well as Raphael and Gabriel, trying to heal the wounded. Michael. What happened here? Gabriel, Raphael. Gabriel. The Cows Brigade had attacked us once again, they did all this a few hours ago, the casualties were luckily minimal, but they got what they wanted, their leader managed to capture the target. An. If you are wondering about Heaven being attacked twice, it is because the Cows Brigade had already attacked Heaven before Issei did so under the lead of RageRevan, this happened in canon. Plus Layden was not sealed in this reality, but was instead killed by Riaz and RageRevan had him revived using the Holy Grail. The battle ended with RageRevan obtaining the Fruit of Wisdom and Fruit of Life in this reality just like in canon. Michael. Who was it? Raphael. Your ace Irina Shidu. Michael was stunned, he knew that she was one of the few that had injured and even mocked Issei Haidu, even though he specifically told her not to do so, he knew that this leader is someone close to Issei, worst he could be him. He just hoped that his fears are not true. Meanwhile at Aguirre's, Cows Brigade HQ. Irina could be seen strapped to her chair, she woke up seeing several seals preventing her from using her powers or escaping from the chair. She tried to escape when she heard a voice. Hey, you've been busy. That voice sounded familiar. Issei approached in his red dragon armor, not trying to immediately show his face. He approached a very distressed and fearful Irina. Irina tried to control her rage. Irina. Who the hell are you and why have you tied me like this? Issei. Oh, don't be like that, you are our prisoner, it is not wise to piss of the warden. Irina. Show your face, only cowards hide behind a mask, you are nothing but a cold-blooded killer. Issei. Geez, you really haven't changed, if you want to see my face so badly, then I might as well show it. Issei deactivates his armor. She knew who this man was, her former childhood friend Issei Haidu. Not only his voice was familiar, but also his face as well. She saw his reddish-black hair instead of his chestnut hair, as well as green pupils instead of his usual brown-colored pupils. Issei the angel was shocked is an understatement. She was terrified of him not only being alive, but also being much stronger than he used to be. He saw her hatred in her eyes towards her former friend for beating her to a pulp. Greg. Her face is priceless. I wish I had a camera to record. Trihiksa. Good, let the hate flow through you. Vitra sighed at the statement but was also enjoying the angel's look of fear and hatred. Trihiksa. Ha ha, I am enjoying this way too much. Issei. Good to see you Arena, unfortunately your demise will not be painless since I have an old friend who would enjoy torturing you till death. Arena. How in God's name are you still alive? Trihiksa. Angered, do not mention that name ever again you damned angel. Issei. Calm down Trihiksa. He then responds to Arena. Issei. An old friend decided to help me, he merged with my consciousness, merging with me as a result we became one. I will let him introduce himself. Greg. Hello Arena, it is not good to see you. Arena. Shocked, Greg. Greg. It's me the Welsh dragon, the same dragon that was sealed in the boosted gear. I didn't realize that you were faced. You toyed with not only my partner's emotions while seducing him a few months back, but also mocked him and only saw him as a tool. But I am no longer sealed in the boosted gear. Arena. No I can't be, this is not real. Issei. It is very much real Arena, this is not a dream. Arena in response spits on him, Issei wipes of the spit and in response Issei punches her face breaking a few teeth as well as nearly breaking her jawline. The dragons were growling at the angel. Issei. Your actions are unholy, I am surprised why you haven't fallen yet. Arena. Go to hell, dragon. Issei. Been there done that, now you will experience it as well, Layden. The fusion of a dragon and a tree approached Arena, causing her to shiver in fear. She knew this dragon very well. Arena. Layden but you are supposed to be dead. Layden. Nope, you can thank RageRevan for reviving me. Issei. Layden, finish her and make sure it is painful. Layden. With pleasure, my lord. Issei leaves Arena alone with Layden. Screams could be heard since she was being constantly tortured. Her wings were being ripped out, barriers were inserted between her lungs and mouth, as well as blood cloths preventing her from breathing, as well as creating a lot of blood cloths in her body. Eventually her screams stopped as she was constantly struggling for air, and the veins in her body started to explode dealing internal bleeding. Eventually she passed out due to immense pain and tremendous blood loss. Layden decided to finish her by burning her corpse. Issei. Now only the yokai and the devils are left, I am gonna enjoy their deaths, if you get in my way Azazel and Vali, I will take you down as well. Ihauser. Since we have dealt with the angels, who are we gonna take down next my friend? Issei. Well we are gonna deal with the yokai faction next. Meanwhile with the alliance. Arena had been presumed missing since weeks now, she has been declared KIA killed in action, her parents were devastated at her demise, Zenobia had isolated herself and has been crying ever since her friend had died. The alliance were shaken since the assault had began leaving themselves far weaker than they should have been, they were unable to make progress in dealing with the Chaos Brigade, which has been strengthening themselves over time. A lot of the supernatural were starting to lose faith in the alliance and stopping the Chaos Brigade. The hero faction who had recently learned the truth about Issei decided to leave the alliance. They decided to stay neutral away from the supernatural. Michael tried to convince Cao Cao, but he refused to listen to the angel leader since he knew if his faction lost their sacred gears, they would also be killed by Surziches for being weak. Cao Cao despite being arrogant and wise still cared for his team, he and Canon surprisingly got along with his teammates. Also I do not have any intention of the hero faction joining the Chaos Brigade once again. Meanwhile at KB headquarters at Agares. Issei had started preparing against his assault at the Yokai faction, he decided to bring in both Layden and Ihauser to begin his assault. He also thought of the possible fight with Amaterasu and the other Shinto gods. But he had his army prepared to take them out. He decided to head out the next day morning. It is a beautiful day outside, birds are singing, flowers are blooming. The city of Kyoto, AN. The Yokai live on the other side of Kyoto, was peaceful with no interruptions and no attacks. The Chaos Brigade hasn't attacked yet on days like these. The Yokai decided to continue their normal routine when all of a sudden a magical blast was sent destroying most of the Shinto shrines, as well as severely damaging the Yokai city. Many Yokai were burning like they were in hell. A lot of low-level Yokai were killed in the initial blast without even realizing what had happened. The high-class ones as well as Yokai like Kitsune decided to keep the young and weak Yokai safe, while the stronger ones were asked to help against the invasion. Misaka. Bring all the children to safety, we have been attacked by the Cows Brigade, I will hold them off till the children are safe. Tengu guards. Yes my lady. The guards leave with the kids. Kunu was along with them, she didn't want to leave, but Yusaka did not want her daughter to know about what she did to Issei, as she may lose her faith. Yusaka sent her daughter with the guards and then called all the high-class yokai, as well as the 9-tailed foxes, to assist to repel the invasion of her faction. She tried to create a sunshower barrier, but it was destroyed by Layden, the insomniac dragon, since she tried to make it in haste. Yusaka. Layden, what are you doing here, how are you even alive, I thought the Gremory girl killed you. Layden. I was revived by the Holy Grail, as for the attack our leader wants vengeance, and he is dying to meet you. Yusaka. You will never get me, you can inform your leader that. I am afraid you have no choice in the matter, Lady Yusaka. Yusaka. Who are you? No it can't be, Daihauser Belial. Daihauser. Hello Fox, I know what you have been doing behind everyone's back, I cannot believe you turned on someone who saved you from the hero faction, if it wasn't for his efforts the whole city of Kyoto along with your faction and your daughter would have been dead by now. Yusaka turned pale, only she and the faction leaders knew of their betrayal towards Issei, she has had the gnawing feeling ever since Issei had died, she knew that he was alive somewhere, she started to have doubts in Surzich's words, since she passed out during her fight against him. Memories of Issei's brutality sprung into her mind, she has been having nightmares of Issei torturing and mocking her ever since his demise. Now she started to feel something that had long passed since his supposed demise. Fear. Yusaka. How can this be, how is he alive? Wow, you are the only one that figured out that I am alive, congratulations Yusaka, I am really happy with your smartness. You are smart, for a fox that is, I will give you that. So I may reduce the brutality of your demise. Yusaka. Voice laden with fear, Issei. Issei. Heya, how are you doing, are you keeping well after you know? Yusaka. Tears in her eyes knew this has to be a dream, it can't be, how are you alive? Issei. Oh ho ho, are you crying Lady Yusaka, for what, guilty about your betrayal? No that can't be it must be that you are crying out of fear begging me for mercy. Well then let me tell you are not gonna have any mercy. Meanwhile we can see the Cows Brigade army completely destroying the building. Layden and Daihauser were killing several high-class yokai with little to no ease, Layden's barriers were preventing them from doing any damage to them, as well as using the strength of an evil dragon to easily kill them. Daihauser was rendering their abilities worthless and was delivering a brutal beatdown to any yokai foolish enough to attack him. The raiding game champion easily defeated several of them in hand-to-hand combat. Yusaka watched the whole massacre, then she focused her eyes on the leader of the KB, she decided to make one final ditch effort in taking down Issei, she immediately transforms into her true form to fight him. Issei in response transforms into his dragon form, which was a 00 feet blackish red dragon with scales stronger than that of Crom Crouch, the strongest evil dragon, he had fiery red wings that even made the yokai shiver in fear, Yusaka herself was shocked at this amazing new form that Issei possessed. Yusaka decided to use the Lee lines to create one final attack, a last-ditch effort to vanquish this evil dragon, by creating a bomb made of concentrated chakra. In response Issei used his signature move to counter Yusaka's chakra bomb, by combining Drag and Vitra's signature move. Blazing inferno of scorching black flames. The flame was strong enough to not only nullify the bomb, but also damage Yusaka by a little bit, then Issei proceeded to lunge towards Yusaka, bidding on her, ripping her flesh apart, he then proceeded to use his talons to rip her chest open, Yusaka screamed in agony as she was being ripped to shreds, she was unable to keep up with Issei's ferocity and speed, as he was constantly tearing her apart, she eventually transformed back in her human form, exhausted due to her injuries. She saw that Issei had transformed back into her human form, Issei then grabbed her by the hair and proceeded to punch her gut over and over again, thus making her cough up blood. He then used his talons to rip apart her foxtails one by one. Yusaka screamed in pain as the place where once her tails were are now left with bleeding wounds. Issei did not stop there, he then proceeded to deliver a punch to her ribs, as well as her legs, breaking them apart, the sound of bones cracking could be heard all over, Yusaka couldn't keep up with Issei. Her fox physiology and adrenaline in her body keeping her alive, she could not even pass out due to this. Issei then proceeded to finish the leader off with extinction sphere, but before he could do that he heard a scream, Kunu had tears in her eyes, watching her big brother, someone she looked up to, beat her own mother to the brink of death. Kunu. Crying, big brother Issei, please stop hurting mother like this, you were once her savior, then why did you turn on her like this? Kunu crying brought a distant memory in his mind, the time when he was a pawn of Ria's Gremory, when he was looked up to by the fox child. When he was loved by everyone, but that was nothing but a farce, but he realized that Kunu didn't know the truth. Yusaka knew that Issei would expose her truth to her daughter. Yusaka. Don't listen to this man, he will turn you against me. Issei. Tell me Kunu, do you really want to know why am I doing this? Kunu? Yes. Issei. How about instead of telling you, I show you what she did. And with that Issei showed her his memories of her mother's betrayal towards him, Surzich's torturing him, her mother mocking and laughing at the brunette for his misery. Kunu could only feel anger for what her mother did to her savior. Yusaka knew her daughter has realized her actions. Kunu? In a voice hiding her anger, mother, is this true? Yusaka. No. Kunu. Liar. You are a liar, mother. Issei. Kunu, now you know why I want your mother dead. She turned her back on me and even mocked me, she even tried to kill me when I tried to fight back. Do you want me to spare your mother even now? She might turn on you if you lose your powers. Kunu. No, please kill her. Yusaka. No. Trihiksa. This woman. Issei. Hasta la vista baby. Extinction sphere. Yusaka's screams could be heard as the sphere completely destroyed her atom by atom. Kunu cried at her mother's demise. Issei comforted her as she lost her only family left. He immediately embraced her, while her cries could be heard across the entire city. After few minutes she lets go, and Issei calls Layton to take her to the base safe and sound. Issei. That was one hell of a day. It can't be, Issei, is that you? Issei looked to see none other than Vali and his team looking at the brunette. They had guilt and remorse etched in their faces, especially Kuroka, who realized that it was Issei that cared for her more than anyone else. Vali. How are you alive? Did you do all this? Issei. Vali, I am not gonna lie to you, I did everything you heard, I killed them all, not just the men, but the woman and the children too. I never died, you can thank Drake for that too. The Fae. Wait, Drake is alive. Drake. Hello everyone, it has been a while. Albion. I thought I had lost my rival, how are you alive? Drake. I merged myself with my host, thus increasing his regeneration. When my boosted gear was destroyed, I asked my past hosts to merge with my host. This allowed my and my host survival, and now we are a single being. Albion. I am happy that you two are still alive. Vali. Issei, please come back to us, Azazel and Auden still miss you, we still miss you, Kuroka is regretful of what she did to you. Kuroka. Vali is right, I never realized when I fell for you, I always was attracted to you, I am sorry for what I said to you, I didn't realize I had hurt your fragile heart. I realized I loved you when you helped me fix my relationship with Shirone Kaneko. I am really disappointed in what she did, but even more so in what I did. So please give me a second chance. Issei. I forgive you, Kuroka, for saying those words, you are the only person that has apologized for their betrayal, as for the others they never did apologize for their actions. But I am sorry, I cannot love you, you broke my heart. So I do not hate you anymore. So Vali, are you gonna tell the factions about my identity? Vali. I do not have any choice, I gotta tell them, otherwise he might end up killing my team. Issei. I understand, please tell Azazel that I miss him too. See ya. Issei teleports out of there, Vali, Arthur and Biku look down in shame and regret, they did not do anything to help their friend when they needed him. Lefei was crying, Kuroka was wailing as she lost a man that would have loved her more than anything else. Lefei and Vali were comforting her. Meanwhile at the hospital. We can see a lady in casts who has been sleeping for 8 months ever since her fight with RageRevan. She finally wakes up screaming a name. Issei. The nurse came in running, the woman had finally woken up, the lady began to explain what had happened to her. Nurse. Miss Asia, I know you need a lot to catch up, your foster parents are dead because of RageRevan, and Mr. Issei are dead, thanks to the factions betraying him. Asia started to cry as she lost her only family left, she didn't know what to do next as she didn't have anything left, she lost faith in the factions, she wanted to leave the hospital and go into hiding ASAP, that's where she saw a man sitting on the couch, he had golden and black hair, he was Azazel, the Governor General of the Fallen Angels. Azazel. So you finally woke up. Asia. Tears in her eyes, yeah. Azazel immediately embraced her, she is the only remnant of Issei's family left, since he doesn't know yet that Issei is still alive. He told her how he and Vali were helpless as they couldn't stop Surzich's in killing Issei. Asia. How could he do such a thing after everything Issei had done for them? Azazel. I know, Asia, even I am shocked at their actions and disappointed in the orc for their actions, I failed them as a teacher, I failed even Issei as a teacher. Asia. Don't blame yourself, Azazel, you did whatever you could to protect your faction. So what now? Meanwhile at the Grigori headquarters. Azazel. Are you sure about this, Vali? Vali. Yes, Azazel, he even admitted to his crimes to us, he doesn't hate us, but he told he will defeat us if he decided to get in his way of vengeance. Azazel in a shaky voice, I never though tthings will become eth is bad thias fast. I was an apostrophe t therefore him we n he needed me the most, if I protected him from his wrath, he will have he still been ythus. Vali. It is not your fault, Azazel. If it wasn't for me dividing weakening him, if I didn't listen to Surziches, none of this would have happened. We would have at least convinced him to come back. Both Azazel and Volley were trying to control themselves. Both were internally grieving as their son brother had become the very thing he swore to destroy. They didn't know that Asia was spying on them. Asia? Is this true? Both were shocked that Asia was spying on them. Volley was surprised that Asia had woken up from her coma. Azazel in a shaky voice, I am afraid it is. Asia started endlessly weeping. Her first friend and brother, who was always there for her and supported her at every step, was now the biggest threat. She was contemplating suicide, but that wasn't an option, since Issei would never forgive himself for letting her die the second time. Volley. So now what do we do? Azazel. The other leaders would know that Yusaka has perished from Issei's assault, along with most of the Yaokai faction. I might as well tell them the identity of the leader of the Cows Brigade. Now if you will excuse me. Azazel said this in a voice that was barely controlling his tears. Azazel left both Volley and Asia alone. He went to his private quarters and started drinking. He has had that habit ever since Issei is dead, and now that he is alive as his worst enemy, he started to cry endlessly. He blamed himself for everything that had happened to Issei. At the KB headquarters, Agares, Issei decided to reveal himself to the entire Cows Brigade. The armies of Klippath and Nilrame factions were surprised, to say the least. They never thought the person that was considered the hope of the alliance would become their strongest ally. Issei. I know that I should not have hidden myself from you guys. I know a lot of you are discontent with the actions of the alliance. I used to think that the alliance were a benevolent faction who wanted peace, but I was wrong. The factions are interested in peace, but not in the way we want them to be. They only care about the strong. They do not care if the weak perish. They only consider people with talent, and the rest they kick out when their talent is no longer present or when they become weak. In my case, they even tried to kill me when I lost my boosted gear, and they didn't even give me a fair trial. I served them, and they used me as a tool. They do not care if you perish, as long as they have a weapon that can fight. They do not care about your feeling. But it is time to stop them. We will not let that happen. We will protect the weak instead of slaying them. We will always stand up for injustice and punish those responsible for hurting innocent creatures. The armies cheered for their speech. This is not the first time Issei gave such a speech, but he certainly didn't expect to garner this much support for his actions. Issei. We will begin our final assault at the Devil faction by sundown tomorrow. I want you guys to have a proper rest and prepare for tomorrow's battle. Drag, I never thought an idiot like you would give such an incredible speech. Vitra, I agree with Drag. My life has become far more interesting since you became my host. You saw us as real people, air dragons, and never used us as tools. Drahiksa. I do not regret merging with you. I always wanted to get back at that old fool for sealing me away, but now I want to help you with your vengeance. You even saw me, a being that was viewed for carnage and destruction, as a real person. For that I am eternally grateful for your actions. Issei, thanks guys, I really mean it. Issei felt overjoyed since the dragons were willing to fight for him till the very end. He knew that tomorrow is gonna be an epic day. His thoughts were interrupted by Layton, Diehauser and Kunu calling for him. Diehauser. That was an incredible speech, Issei. I never thought you would have been such a capable and compassionate leader. You always saw me as a teammate rather than a slave, unlike RageRevan, and helped me to get stronger with increased training. Now I feel like I can even defeat Surziches. Layton. People always feared me for being an evil dragon. They used to either run or try to kill me, but you didn't do either of that. You spared me, saw who I was beyond being a dragon, and always put our lives first than your own. I will follow you to the very end, Issei-sama. Kunu. Initially I did not believe you could hurt mother like this. I knew you always had a good reason, but I now know what really happened to you, the reason you did all those actions. You are still the same older brother that once saved my kind, including my ungrateful mother. I want to be with you until the very end, please do not leave me. Issei could only tear up at the sight of his true friends supporting him till the very end. He knew that they would sacrifice their own lives for his survival, and he would also do the same for them. Greg. He deserves this. Drahiksa. After all he has been through, he needed love and affection from certain people. Issei wipes his tears and headpats Kunu. Issei. Thank you guys, I really mean it, and Kunu, your big brother is never going to abandon you ever again. Now you guys also take rest, we have a big battle tomorrow. All agree and go back to their quarters and get prepared the next day for their final battle against the Alliance. At the Alliance meeting area. Azazel told everyone the true identity of the Cows Brigade leader. Surziches was now livid at what he assumed to be a betrayal. Serafel wanted vengeance against the dragon, while Lejuka was blindly loyal to Surziches because he is not only his best friend, but also he didn't want to betray him. Michael wanted Issei's forgiveness, and he was not surprised at his actions towards the Alliance. Auden wanted to gain his faith back. He too was devastated at the Issei being the new leader of the Cows Brigade. Riaz was devastated at the actions of her former pawn, now with him being an enemy of the alliance, Akeno was motionless, given that Issei is now their threat. Kiba and Zenobia were now starting to despise the dragon, with the latter holding him responsible for not only breaking Orc spirit, but also holding him responsible for the deaths of the Citri peerage, as well as her best friend Irina. Kaneko detested him for not only bashing her endlessly, but also for turning her sister against him. She still viewed him as the enemy of women. Needless to say, both Gasper and Roswies were shocked as the one they were looking for turned out to be their biggest enemy. They felt something was wrong with the entire situation. The underworld was in shock. Grafia, Milikas, Vanellina, as well as Eroticus were devastated at the news. Sayerg, Riser and Ravel were completely shattered, since the one that would have fought tooth and nail for their sake has now become the biggest enemy. Sayerg clenched his fist and punched the ground in anger. Ravel was constantly weeping as Riser comforted her little sister. Serziches calms down and begins the meeting. Serziches. How dare Issei betrayed us like this? Becoming our enemy is the biggest mistake. Serafol. I will avenge Sotan's death at the hands of that dragon. I am coming for you, Issei. You. Better. Be. Ready. Ajuka. The question is, how are we gonna defeat him? Azazel. Don't you devils still get it? We are responsible for this. We pushed him to such an extent. This is the consequence of our action. We brought this on ourselves. Had we not betrayed him, we still would have had a powerful ally with us. Auden. I just hope the boy doesn't hate my faction for the betrayal. Azazel. Do not worry, All-Father, you didn't turn your back on him. Serziches. How dare you? Azazel. How dare you support a terrorist? He is the reason so many people are dead. He is nothing but a weak traitor. Azazel. And the ones that are dead are the ones that betrayed him or hurt his family members or tried to get in his way. Sona's peerage, Rizavam, Yasaka, Irina, all of them are the ones that turned their backs on him. The rest all are the ones that tried to get in his way of achieving his vengeance. If you hadn't betrayed him or tortured him to death, none of this would have happened. He would have still been with us. I am done trying to convince you at this point, Serziches. Now whatever happens is on you. I am done with this alliance. The fallen angels are no longer gonna be an ally of the devils. Auden. We back out as well. I do not want to ally myself with traitors. Before they could leave, the sky turns orange-red, with Chaos Brigade soldiers appearing through portals. They disable the leader's portal and their teleportation ability. Azazel. He is here. All of a sudden a figure jumps out from the shadows. A very familiar face is seen by the faction leaders. Serziches and Serafol are radiating with aura raging from rage and grief. Seeing the man they once killed is now here for his retribution. Issei. Hello, there. The faction leaders got ready for their fight of a lifetime. Azazel and Auden did not want to fight Issei, but the dragon wasn't giving them much of a choice. Azazel knew that Issei hasn't targeted Azazel for his vengeance, but will try to stop him nevertheless. Azazel. I don't want to fight you, Issei. Issei. Then do not get in my way, Sensei. Azazel realized that Issei still respected him. He knew that there was still the old Issei inside the Chaos Brigade leader, the once pervert who used to help people and would even sacrifice his own life to save the ones he protected. While lost in his thoughts, Serafol lunged at him in an attempt to avenge her sister's demise. Serafol. I will kill you, Haidu. Issei. In an ominous tone, you will try, Serafol. But that Serafol engages Issei in battle. She uses her signature ice magic to counter Issei, but the dragon constantly used his proficiency in fire magic to counter her attacks. Serafol. Ice magic tendrils. Issei. Flamethrower. Serafol. Ice flower. Issei. Firestorm. Serafol. Iced arena. Issei. Dragonic heat wave. Serafol. Ice valence. Issei. Toxic flames of destruction. Issei was easily able to counter all of Serafol's ice magic without any effort. The faction leaders were shocked at his abilities. It is no wonder he is the leader of the Chaos Brigade. He easily was able to kill an entire peerage, almost wiping out entire faction, as well as killing a super devil. They started to shudder at the thought of dealing with him at his full power. As for Serafol, she was unable to think rationally because of the rage consuming her. Serafol. How are you this strong? Issei. Training. Unlike you, I kept training even after I became strong. Serafol. Time to end the Celsius cross trigger. Serafol tried to turn the land into a frozen wasteland just to get rid of Issei. They could see an icy mist where there was Issei. All assumed Issei couldn't survive. Azazel was devastated that he lost his son once again. Then he heard a roar. Issei was alive. Serafol was shocked that he was still alive and started feel something that she only felt during the Great War. Fear. Issei. You have done your part, now it is my turn. But saying that he transformed into his balance breaker and was pummeling the Devil King like she was nothing. Serafal tried to use her ice magic to slow down Issei's onslaught, but this only angered him. He was beating her brutally. The faction leaders were shocked at his onslaught. Serafal had broken bones, blood was spilled everywhere, her teeth were broken, and she was coughing up blood. Serafal. Please have mercy. Issei. There is no mercy, Welsh dragon flare. But that Issei unleashes a vortex of flames on the Devil King, killing her instantly. Issei. Do not worry, I will deal with you next, Gremory. In response to the shocking murder of the Devil King Serafal Leviathan, both Ria's Gremory and Surzich's are now feeling fear. Both wanted to escape the area, but knew that they cannot since Issei disabled any magical portals. The place where the meeting hall was supposed to be was completely destroyed due to the fight. The leaders could see Daihauser, Layton and Kunu leading the charge against the Devil faction, eliminating with zero difficulty. Surzich's was forced to summon his peerage. They all saw the carnage that was going on. They then saw Issei watching everything unfold. Grafia then saw Issei. As happy as she was disturbed by what Issei had become. Grafia teared up at the sight of how far Issei had fallen. Grafia. Begging, Issei, you need to stop this, you are not going to get anything by committing genocide. Issei. Do you think I want this, Grafia? I never wanted to murder anyone, I only wanted to be loved, but your husband and sister-in-law chose to betray me, and not even that, they lied to me during my entire life as a devil, not to mention your husband betrayed me when I lost my sacred gear and nearly killed me when I tried to fight back. Grafia was stunned on hearing Issei's confession. She knew that he would never do such a thing, but has been doubting her master and her husband's nature ever since the meeting where Issei was declared dead. She began to fear the worst-case scenario. Meanwhile, Sauji and Beowulf decided to attack Issei with their abilities, but the dragon was too strong for their attacks. Grafia. Sauji, Beowulf, no, don't attack him. Both. We will avenge Lady Serafal. Issei. So you have chosen death. Issei then unleashes a point-blank blazing inferno of scorching flames, but in a small amount just to minimize damage, but it was enough to completely burn the two alive. Surzich's. No. Grafia looked away. She could not watch someone so close to her do such heinous acts. She understood Issei's reasoning, but has realized that he has gotten too far. Issei. Do you really want to know why I did all this, Grafia and everyone present? Then watch this, but remember this will tarnish who he is in front of everyone's eyes. Grafia. Yes, I do. Grafia was already on the verge of breaking down. The gnawing feeling of her husband lying was the thing that was increasing inside of her. Issei then proceeded to show the recording of Surzich's action in front of everyone. Saerg, Riser, and their peerages were shocked at the person they looked up to could fall so low. Auden was disturbed at the fact that the peacemaker did such a heinous act. Grafia was in utter disbelief as Surzich's not only enjoyed torturing Issei, but also had mocked him for his parents' demise, as well as loss of Dreg. She was even more shocked when Riaz joined her brother in her assault against Issei. She never expected all this to be true. She was not even sure what to say anymore. Grafia. Is this true? Please don't lie. Grafia did not want this to be true. She loved her husband, but if this is true he would be a threat to her son, and she didn't want to lose him. Surzich's. Yes. Grafia then slaps him in front of everyone. Grafia. Voice filled in anger and venom. You are not a man I love. You killed someone who I deemed a brother in cold blood for your own pleasure. Your actions have proved that you are now a threat to my son Milikas. I am taking him away from you. Surzich's. No, please. But by that time Grafia had already teleported to the underworld to retrieve her son. Surzich's. You turned her against me, Issei. Issei. You have done that yourself. Your desire for your twisted view of the world, your lust for power and your betrayals have already done that. When Issei had finished, Riaz and her peerage interrupted their conversation. Kaneko was the first to attack her. She tried to use her Shirin form to fight him, but Issei easily overwhelmed her and utterly destroyed every single bone in her body. Kuroka, watching this, wanted to prevent Issei from attacking her sister, but Vali stated that she chose this herself. Kuroka knew that her life was in the dragon's hand. Before Issei could have dealt with Kaneko once and for all, he was attacked by Kiba with his sword, but he easily broke his sword. Then he proceeded to place a tentacle instead of Kiba, crushing his internal organs, causing severe internal bleeding. Then he used Vitra flames on him, burning him on the inside. Kiba wanted to scream, but was unable to do so. Zenobia tried to avenge Kiba, but Issei instead sidestepped, delivering a severe gut punch to Zenovia's stomach. She ended up coughing up blood. He then proceeded to start ripping apart her body part one by one using his talons. Zenobia wailed in agony as her organs were being ripped from her body. Issei then unleashed a compressed extinction sphere in her stomach which exploded on impact, killing her instantly. Asper and Roswiis were speechless at their friend's actions. Both didn't want to attack Issei, so they only watched. They found the punishment fitting for such liars. They did not do anything since they would also have been betrayed in a similar manner if they ever lost their power's sacred gear. Akeno was up next. She and Kaneko, the latter who had recovered from their initial attack, tried to attack one final time. Akeno used her fallen angel form, constantly raining light spears from above, but Issei easily dodged all of them instantly. He then delivered a brutal beatdown to the Priestess of Thunder, making her unable to recover. He then proceeded to rip her fallen wings. Akeno screamed in agony and terror due to the pain, after which she passed out. Issei. The only reason I am sparing you is because your father is a good man. I don't want him to suffer because of your actions. Issei then focused his attention on Kaneko. She was already exhausted and was bleeding on all sides. Kaneko. You were always a worthless pervert. The only reason I tolerated you is because you were the Red Dragon Emperor. Now I am gonna beat you to the bloody death. Greg. The audacity of this bitch. 0. Greg said that with a tone of mockery, with both Trihixa and Vitra agreeing too with her stupidity. Issei. Even after your beatdown, you are still why, I am gonna enjoy breaking that smile of yours. Issei said this with a sinister smile as he proceeded to lunge at Kaneko, ripping apart her tail and her ears. Kaneko wailed in agony as her parts were removed from a body. He then gave her a vicious haymaker, dealing massive damage to her entire body. He then used his magic to deal a powerful blast, killing her instantly. Hiroka, on seeing this, screamed as she had lost her sister. Vali tried to comfort her as she knew that there was nothing they could do. They knew of the dragon's relationship with her was already shaky from the beginning. Kuroka wanted to swear vengeance, but realized that she would become like him, consumed by it. They decide to teleport out of there. Riaz is the only one left standing. She tries to beg for forgiveness. Riaz. Issei, please stop, I am sorry for turning on you, I won't do it again. Issei. It is too late for apologizing, now prepare yourself, you are gonna have a bad time. Issei then lunges at her with the intent to kill. He easily overwhelmed her power of destruction with zero to little effort. She was struggling to keep up with him. Issei then proceeded to give her blow after blow, knocking her out. He then picked up Durandal and, along with Ascalon, used it to rip both of Ria's hands. She screamed in pain as both of her limbs were ripped apart. She was looking in the eyes of her former savior in fear. Trihixa. Good Issei, good, kill her now. Issei. I shouldn't. Trihixa. Do it. And with that, Issei decapitated Riaz and her body was rendered lifeless on the floor. Now only one person was left, the one who caused this whole mess to begin with, the Devil King Surzich's Lucifer. He was emanating with aura far deadlier than he was during his fight with the Jabberwocky. He knew this was the final fight, it was now or never. Most of Surzich's peerage had been annihilated by Diehauser and Layden, while Kunu was dealing with the Devil Army. Surzich's. You have taken everything from me. Issei. At this point I do not even know who you are. Surzich's. You will, Issei, you will. The battle begins. Issei uses Diabolo's dragon to fight Surzich's in his true destruction form. They both were equally matched, with Issei using blow after blow to fight Surzich's, who was able to keep up with Issei's attack. He constantly ruin of extinction on him, being able to damage his Diabolo's dragon form. Issei eventually lost his entire armor. He saw Surzich's glowing with a blackish red aura. The dragons. Issei, it is about time to use it. Issei. Alright then, well Surzich's, congratulations, you managed to take me on in 0% of my power, well then it is about time I go full power. Issei started to chant. I, who am about to awaken. Am the heavenly beast who has stolen the principles of domination from God. I laugh at the infinite, I grieve at the dream, and mock at the powerful. I shall become the black beast of annihilation. And I shall sink you to the depths of the voided purgatory from which you will never return. Apocalyptic drive. The Juggernaut drive was formed, but it didn't eat away Issei's insanity. This form was far deadlier than anyone before. It looked like a combination of Drake's true form, with Vitra's tentacles as well as Trihixa's full body. Everyone was bewildered at the sight of this new being. Surzich's himself was now feeling terror in his body. Surzich's. What in Satan's name are you? Issei then charged at Surzich's, lunging at the super devil. He was tearing him apart through his destruction form. He basically started to rip him into pieces, where he was constantly being tortured to pieces. His regeneration only made matters worse as he was in no shape. After which Issei then proceeded to deal with him by delivering a vicious haymaker, breaking every single bone in him. He was barely alive, completely powered down. He looked towards Issei with fear and hatred, the latter which looked at him with a smirk. Ascalon pointed at his face. Issei almost finished him when he heard a familiar voice. Issei knew. Issei. Wait, that voice, Asia, is that you? Asia. Yes, it is me, your friend. You need to stop this rampage. He will be punished for his actions, but not like this. Azazel then appeared. Azazel. You have done enough damage, look around you, Issei, your lust for vengeance has destroyed everything around you. Is this what you really wanted, complete destruction? Issei looked round realizing what he had done, realizing that there is nothing left, he started to feel something he hadn't felt in a long time, regret. He didn't realize his lust for vengeance would destroy everything in his path. Issei. In tears, what have I done? Asia. I know you can change, I know you can fix things, you never gave up, you always found hope even in the most desolate situations. I know you very well Issei, you are the being that once gave Issei hope. Azazel. Asia is right, Issei you always saw good in people, you were the reason why Vali and Cao Cao joined us because of your indirect actions. You never held grudges, you changed prideful devils like Riser, no matter how the odds are stacked against you, you kept pushing. Azazel. All you need to do is face punishment. But before Issei could say anything, two magical tendrils pierced both Azazel and Asia severely wounding them. Azazel only cursed Surzich as the one responsible for the attack, everything was going in the right path for once, but now his mentor was dead. Asia was the next to collapse, she saw Issei rushing towards her. Issei. Crying, Nuo, you can't die like this, I want you to see my change into a good person, I wanted us to have a family, you can't die like this. Asia. I knew there was good in you, unfortunately there was no good in him, points at Surzich's please do not change who you are, but even if you do cough out blood I will always love you. Asia is dead, lifeless on the floor. Issei screams in anger and pain, he has lost the only last person in his family. How far are you gonna fall? Brafia had appeared through the portal as she now lost any remaining love and respect she had for him, even Milikas was disgusted at what his father has become. Brafia. I am from here on out nothing for you, and I feel nothing towards you as well, even Milikas has no love left for you, also I have informed Lady and Lord Grimmery about your actions they are disgusted in you as well. Surzich's. Then you will die. Brafia prepared for the inevitable, when Issei lunged at Surzich's, he then proceeded to rip apart his skin, leaving a broken chest cavity and bones, then he used his tentacles to pierce through every organ in the body, rupturing it and putting his cursed flames on it. Surzich's howled in pain as he was unable to keep up with the damage, the regeneration only made things worse, as it made his demise even more painful, as the organs were constantly burning due to the regeneration. Brafia had covered Milika's eyes so that he does not see the carnage, she herself could not handle the disgusting sight, and she herself barfed. Issei then proceeded to unleash Ascalon towards his heart, twisting it in such a manner that it does not kill the super devil. Surzich's. Aya. Please stop. Greg. That is not gonna happen Lucifer, you have had this coming for a long time. Drahiksa. I used to be mindless, but even I had honor, but you are dishonorable. Vitra. You deserve what's coming for you. Surzich's screamed in agony as the torture continued and repeated itself over and over again when he perished. Issei finally used blazing inferno of scorching flames to destroy the corpse. He was finally done with his vengeance, but at what cost? Grafia, Milikas, Kunu, Layden as well as Diehauser went to console Issei on his loss, as he lost his entire family. Issei. Guys we are not done yet, there will still be people trying to avenge the people that I have murdered, we need to take them down before it is too late. Are you guys with me? All? Yes Issei, we are all with you. Issei looked down on his army as they were all ready for what comes next. Issei then fought against countless devils, angels and other supernatural beings that were gonna attack his new home and his new family. All of them helped in dealing with the attackers, and when everything was done the supernatural count in this universe became very low. The quote from Batman. If you kill a killer, the number of killers in the world remains the same. In this dark alternate take on the first arc of High School Dxd. Instead of Asia Argento getting herself kidnapped by Rainer, Issei bargains with her, surprising both Rainer and Asia. This results in Issei getting himself kidnapped with a shocked Asia looking helplessly as her master takes her first and possibly only friend away from her. Issei. Please do not hurt her Rainer, I will come with you. Rainer. What do you have to possibly offer devil boy, I do not want your damn twice critical. Issei. But listen to me, this gear I do not think it is as weak as you think it should be, I feel it is much stronger than it seems, I guess it has not been unlocked yet. But I feel it may be something far more powerful. Rainer. Thinks, it seems that this boy is not lying considering his friend is in danger, with a sinister smirk, alright then Issei-kun I accept your deal. But that Issei is taken to the skies with his now ex-girlfriend, he smiles as he is very close to her op-eye and has a lecherous smile. But he eventually realizes what this woman did to him, changes his smile into a defiant anger and sad look. Asia watches in horror as her friend is taken away from her. Asia immediately realizes that there is only one way to solve this problem, she heads towards the occult research club, where Rias Gremory, the master of Issei Haidu, is seen drinking her tea served by none other than her queen and servant Akeno Himejima. She then rushes to the club room, shocking Rias. While initially being skeptical about the presence of a nun in an area full of devils, but is shocked when she informs her that Issei Haidu, her precious pawn, had been kidnapped by Rainer. While being angry at her pawn for defying her orders, she realizes that she needs to act quick, otherwise she may lose her pawn and her only chance at winning against Riser. And before you think that this is another Ria's bashing, this is not like them. Ria's has still not fallen in love with Issei. For her, she sees him as a cute little brother, also unlike in most fanfictions where Ria's orchestrated Issei's death so that he can be loyal to her. In canon, this is a plot hole on the author's part. Also, I see this as a negligence, as she did not see those fallen angels as a threat. She was negligent in handling her territory, thus resulting in Issei's death. However, in this alternate universe, her negligence is gonna be the biggest mistake of her life. Asia. You need to help Issei, she captured him, and now please rescue him, he needs you, he is your pawn, isn't he? Rias. Controlling her anger, well then Asia, let's go, I will save him, but he will be punished for his reckless and stupid action. Asia. Well, what you see fit, but please, he needs to stay alive. Rias. Do not worry Asia, he will be safe, I promise you nothing is going to happen to him. The storyline will be same, with Rias and Akeno dealing with Calwariner, Donasi, Mitlet and Kaneko and Kiba going through the front door. Except Asia will be replaced by Issei completely. She along with Kaneko and Kiba will be encountering Fried as well as later Rainer. Fried. Well, if it isn't the shitty devils. Asia. Please Father Fried, let us save Issei, we do not want to fight you. Fried. Oh dear Asia, you have been corrupted by being with these shitty devils, you have been behaving like them, for your sins the only punishment you deserve is death, laughs maniacally. Saying that Fried attacks Asia, but his sword is parried with Kiba's sword, while Kaneko constantly attacks him with her punches, as well as throwing a clock at him when he called her a midget. Fried. How are you able to keep up with me, how can I lose to a shitty devil? Kiba. Not only are your sword skills predictable, but also your attacks reckless and dumb. Fried gets angered by the response and uses his sword of light, but is consumed by Kiba's sword of darkness. Fried. How is this possible? Kiba. My sword is a special type of sword that consumes light energy itself, now you will perish for your involvement in my friend's attack. Fried. You cheat. I cannot lose to such shitty devils. Fried. I must escape. But that Fried throws a light bomb on the floor, creating a flash of light, giving enough time for the rogue priest to escape before getting himself killed disgracefully at the hands of some low-class devils. Kiba. Damn it. Let's go Asia, Kaneko. Both? Yes. Meanwhile outside the church. Akeno had set up a barrier to deal with these fallen angels. She was in her Maiko costume, she and Rias had appeared to the fallen angels, they were all mocking her and her master for being stupid enough to barge towards enemy territory single-handedly. Akeno. You do realize that we are not the only ones here, right? Calwariner. What do you mean? Rias. It is just that two of my servants along with the nun have already infiltrated the church and are dealing with the priests as we speak. Litlet. No damn it. Anasik. We have been tricked. Litlet. We need to get out of here. Akeno. Ara that will not be happening, the barrier is strong enough to keep anyone of low class from entering as well as exiting. Rias. Akeno is correct, you will not be leaving from her so easily. Calwariner. I think you should be worried about your pawn more than them. Rias. What do you mean? Litlet. Well, it is just that Rainer initially wanted to kill Issei due to his gear, but now she wants his gear. Calwariner. Yeah, but the best part was the date, oh how she told that she enjoyed toying with her Issei's feelings before finally killing him. Anasik. Well, I feel bad for the pawn for falling into her games, but he was stupid to not sense the threat in front of him. I know really pity him for being this stupid enough to sacrifice himself to save someone he barely knew, now at least he will be of some use to us. All three angels start laughing at the pawn's misery, angering Rias even further, she flares her aura of destruction at them, causing them to stop laughing. Akeno. Crows like you are the reason I hate fallen angels so much, now you have just triggered Rias so much that now there is no escape. Make peace with your maker. Rias. You will pay for toying and hurting my pawn. But that Rias uses her POD to easily kill the three fallen angels, thus breaking the barrier allowing her to rush to aid her team and the nun. At the church. Kiba and Kaneko proceed to find a trapdoor revealing a hidden stairway, the trio then proceeds to be what is an altar. There she could see Issei being crucified with Rainer appearing with a smirk towards the trio. They only had horrified expression on their faces as they could see Issei's left hand being completely singed due to the sacred gear's removal. Rainer. Oh, it seems you are too late, the sacred gear removal procedure is already done, I now wield the ultimate power. Asia then proceeded to move towards Issei when she was stopped by some rogue priests, Kiba and Kaneko then intervened, taking most of the priests down. Kiba. Go Asia. Save him. Asia. Right, thanks Kiba. Asia then proceeds to make it up to the altar. Rainer. Go ahead, take him, he is now of no use to me, I got what I wanted from him. Asia then takes Issei's body and runs away towards the trapdoor, where sees him, his eyes barely being open. Issei then opens his eyes to see a tearful Asia. Issei smiles at her, knowing that his death is imminent. He is happy to see his first friend looking at him at his final moments. He weakly tries to sit. Issei. Hey. Asia please don't cry. Asia. Crying, Issei no, PLS stay with me, I can't live without you. Issei. You are the first person who saw me for who I am, I wanted to make you meet so many people, I wanted you to know so many friends, Mitsuda and Motohama would love to meet someone like you, they would enjoy being your friends, please take of them. My parents would love to meet a girl like you. Be with them, protect them. I do not have much time left, hehehehe. Asia. Crying, no please don't say such things, there has to be a way to save you, Riaz and the others are also here, they promised me that they would save you from dying, I don't have anyone in my life, and I do not want to lose you. Issei. They are here, Atlas they care about me, but it is too late for that. I do not have much time left, Rainer already informed that I was gonna die by the time the process ends. Fitting end for a devil. Asia. Crying, please do not say that Issei, you may be a devil by blood, but not by heart, the real devils are the ones responsible for your death and letting your death to take place. Issei. Thank you Asia, for being with me. Hey can you please do me a favor before I perish? Asia. Anything. Issei. Give that bitch Rainer what she deserves, people like her shouldn't be allowed to roam free, do not let anyone else be a victim like me or you, protect possible victims from the hands of supernatural people like her before it is too late. Please protect the. Before completing the statement, Issei dies, Asia is in momentary shock as the man who was her first friend, the man she loved just died in front of her eyes. At that point something in the nun snapped, no longer was she the kind-hearted and compassionate nun she was. It was that day a new nun had been born, no longer would she show mercy to supernatural beings that use their power for tormenting innocent beings, she will defend them until the very end. That was when Rainer appeared and she mocked him. Rainer laughing, oh how pathetic, he was the man that would give anything for me, the Prince Charming wannabe, I enjoyed toying with his emotions the most. Oh and the best part was that I killed him when he least expected it. I even kept his gift in my hands. An. Replace the scenery with that of the church. That was when something in Asia snapped, she lunged at the fallen angel, who easily evaded her attacks like it was nothing. Rainer. You really are a fool, you really think that a human can attack me, especially when I have the supreme power in my fingertips. Saying that Rainer used one of her light spear and aimed at her arms, Asia was hurt but used her twilight healing in response to heal her injuries, she shrugged them off like it was nothing and began her attack again by lunging at her face, also being human, the light spears were not as effective as it would have normally been to a certain devil. Asia. Yahoo bitch. You will pay. Rainer. Don't you understand, your attacks do not work on me, you will never win. But that she threw two more light spears at her, Asia successfully dodged both of them with relative ease, she then took a nearby metal spike and lunged at Rainer, aiming for what it seemed like a boosted gear in its second liberation. She successfully aimed at the fallen angel's hand and she ripped open the gear, Rainer screamed as the boosted gear was removed from her arms. It flew towards the other side of the church. Asia then proceeded to incorporate the boosted gear into her hand, her rage allowing the boosted gear to show its true form. Rainer had a look of pure shock and fear as she saw the gear incorporated into the nun's hands. Rainer? How? How can this be? How can she have two sacred gears? Rainer out of fear threw light spears at the nun's face, but she easily deflected them and lunged at the fallen angel. Asia? Weak. Rainer? No please do not hurt me, I am too weak. Asia? How does it feel to be on the receiving end of a punishment? Did you spare Issei, even though he did not do anything to deserve it, he loved you more than anyone else, and not only did you crush his heart, but you went one step further and even tortured him to death. You always enjoyed torturing others and then laughed at them. Now you will suffer till your last breath. Rainer tried to escape from her demise, but Asia caught her before she could do, she was caught by the leg. Rainer. Please show mercy. Asia. Nope. Asia then threw her in a cyclic manner with her head landing on the ground first, then she proceeded to constantly punch her over and over again. Asia continued her onslaught as she then proceeded to start breaking every single bone in her body. Rainer tried to scream, but Asia used the stake to pierce her chest, preventing her to do so. Rainer tried to call someone to help them. But nobody came. An. Rainer was pathetically weak and stupid even in the canon, she was beaten by Issei, whose strength at the time was said to be weaker than that of regular devil children, the only reason he reached to the level he is in now is due to sheer training and hard work. His perversion was nothing but a motivator for him, just like Natsu's motivator is his friends. A lot of people think that his power-ups were only due to his perversion, which is dead wrong in their opinion. It was then the remaining members of the orc came and saw what was going on. They saw Asia, the nun who had completely snapped at the angel, dealing a viscous haymaker to Raynor who was barely even alive. She asked Asia to stop. Asia. Furious, why should I Gremory while your pawn is dead? Just look around. Riaz understood what the fallen angel did. She could see Issei's dead body over there. She felt like this was her fault, if only she hadn't been prideful. If only she warned Issei about what Raynor's true identity and intentions were, if she had not been so negligent in handling her territory, none of this would have happened. Issei would have been still alive, and the fallen angel would have been dealt with. But now not only was Issei dead, there was no chance to bring him back. Riaz felt guilty and remorse for what had happened. There was nothing she could do, nothing they could do. Even the other members of the orc felt guilty because of their actions. Kaneko also felt guilty as even though he was a pervert, he still was her teammate nevertheless. She could have easily revealed Raynor's identity since she spied when Raynor asked Issei for a date. Riaz. Asia, please stop, I know how it feels, I also lost a pawn, please stop. Asia, realizing what she had done, stopped for a moment for Riaz also to have her vengeance against the fallen angel. Riaz. Keeping her anger in check, hello fallen angel Raynor, I am Riaz Gremory, heir to the house of Gremory. I would love to chit-chat with you, but you did something far worse to my servant, you killed him in cold blood, you will pay for what you have done. For you see the gear which Asia had on her hand right now is none other than the boosted gear, the same gear that has the Welsh dragon sealed in it. So do not worry, you won't have a dishonorable death at the hands of a weak mere human, but at the hands of none other than the Red Dragon Emperor. Raynor. How all this while I had the ultimate power and I let my guard down, I lost this power and also lost to a mere pathetic human. No, there has to be a way to win. Right, my friends. Riaz. You're correct, Crow, you let your guard down, that was the reason you lost to Asia Argento, who is now the current Red Dragon Empress, there is no way you could have won. Raynor. You think you have won, my friends would be coming to save me. Riaz. Oh them, I already killed them, they were quite rude to me and my pawn, and also they mocked how you treated and killed Issei. Riaz then throws 3 feathers at Raynor, who had the look of shock and terror. She knew her demise was inevitable, and she knew that there are 2 people that wanted her dead more than anything else. Raynor made a last-ditch effort to escape, she tried using her fallen wings to escape, but Asia had caught on this and caught her wings, she then proceeded to rip of her wings, making her scream in pain and agony. Raynor made a last-ditch effort to escape, she tried using her fallen wings to escape, but Asia had caught on this and caught her wings, she then proceeded to rip of her wings, making her scream in pain and agony. Asia. Now I have made you human, the very thing you despise. Now perish. Dragon shot. Asia fired a green orb of magical energy towards Raynor, she screamed as the blast completely disintegrated her out of existence. Riaz and her peerage were in shock as she basically tortured a fallen angel to her death. Riaz then proceeded to try and help Issei, but was stopped by the furious blonde. Asia. Don't you dare. You promised Riaz, you promised nothing would happen to Issei, you promised that he would be alive, but now he is dead, and it is all your fault, you were negligent in handling the situation, your pride and arrogance caused his death and… Don't you dare approach him like you can fix the situation. Asia then proceeded to remove the pawn pieces from Issei's body and threw it on the floor. She then proceeded to carry her dead friend to a nearby gravesite and bury him. Kaneko tried to attack her and mocking her master, but was stopped by the heiress, as she was partly responsible for his demise. She didn't realize what the Fallen's plans were. If she did, none of this would have happened. Riaz. This is all my fault. I let my pride get the better of me. What have I done? Riaz had completely broken down. The peerage had also been saddened as they had lost their comrade. But now nothing can be done, this was the punishment for their pride as well as their laziness. But Asia. She was seen burying her friend in the graveyard. Asia. Sorry Issei, I couldn't protect you, I couldn't save you, I was too weak and afraid of what I am. I lost you, my only friend, and now I cannot be with you. But I will continue your last wish. No supernatural will ever toy with humanity ever again. Asia broke down after that, after a while she left the gravesite with tears. That was touching, but my whole plan failed, that damn crow had to ruin everything, I wanted the nun by my side, but she chose to kill that filthy dragon, she ruined everything. The mysterious person said this, gritting his teeth before teleporting away. One night, while she was sleeping, she woke up in what felt like a fiery landscape. She saw a 0-meter dragon staring down on her. She looked terrified at first, but then recognized him as Drag, the Welsh dragon. Drag. Hello partner. Asia. Who are you? Drag. It has been a while since I have had a lady as a host. My name is Drag, also known as the Red Dragon Emperor. Do not worry, I mean you no harm, since you are my current host. Asia. Drag. What's wrong partner? Asia. Truth be told, I am not your original host. Breg. Asia. Yeah. Breg. What do you mean by not the original host partner? Asia. Sad while controlling her tears, you see my friend was the host before you, he was a reincarnated devil, a pawn of Ria's grimoire, his name was Issei Hayadu, he was killed by the fallen angel Rainer, by having the boosted gear extracted from his body, resulting in his death. Breg. Asia. And that's not even the worst part, he was tortured by the fallen angel, as well as having being mocked by her after his demise. Breg on hearing that immediately became angry, he may not have known the host, but judging by his current partner's tone on how he died, knew that he would have been a great host, he roared in pain, but knew that he could not have done anything, as he was sealed inside the gear, he cursed God for his miserable situation, well he may have been a prideful dragon once, but now that is changed. He has now become a more compassionate creature, thanks to being sealed in the boosted gear. Asia. Controlling her anger, but I avenged his death by brutally torturing her as she killed my first friend, if it wasn't for her he would have been alive. But I made an oath, I will become stronger, I will not be the weak nun that let Issei die, I will no longer become the girl that was toyed by others due to being nice. I will protect any other sacred gear user from being abused by the supernatural with my own life. I will become so strong that no supernatural will dare attack an innocent person with their abilities till I am alive. I will need your help to become stronger Welsh dragon, Drag, please help me. Saying this Asia bowed towards the heavenly dragon surprising him. Well he may have some nice hosts over his time in being sealed inside the boosted gear, none have been so nice and determined as this girl was, especially when most hosts before her only cared for power, completely disregarding the dragon as merely a tool, they did not even talk to him or care for his feelings, they only used his power for destruction and rampage, some even activated the juggernaut drive for fun. Just to see what it does, thus siphoning away their insanity as well as their life force. He knew that this host has a pure heart, but it has been shattered by some very terrible supernatural beings. Breg. Roaring with laughter, you are the first host, you are the first one that saw me as a being rather than a tool. I see your reason to be justified enough for me to help you. Therefore, I Drag will aid you in your quest to become stronger. I will be your host until the very end, together we both will prevent what happened to Issei, happen to anyone else. Asia happily with tears, thank you Drag, thank you so much, well how should we begin to become stronger? Breg. Well I could convert you into a dragon, with it you will become far stronger than a regular human, your abilities will be enhanced, beyond that of a regular human, angel, devil or a fallen angel, you will also have the abilities of a dragon, like wings, sharp talons, etc. You will also have high magical abilities as well as high magic resistance, you will also be able to be immune to any poison, as well as high durability, only Samuel's poison would affect and kill you. But be warned this process will be extremely painful, are you sure you are up to the task partner? Asia shuddered at the painful part, then she remembered the pain Issei went through because of her, with a determined look, she responded. Asia. I accept, let's do this Drag. Breg. That's the spirit partner, well then let's begin with the transformation. Saying this she woke up from her dream. Asia. What a dream that was. Dreg. Partner that was no dream. Asia. What the Dreg how are you able to speak with me outside the mindscape? Dreg. I can communicate with you with the boosted gear anytime you want me to, just call my name and I will be able to chat with you, just do not call me when I am sleeping. Asia chucked at Dreg's statement. Dreg. What's the plan partner, how are we going to do the procedure? Asia. Well I know of a location where we can do our hiding spot, there no supernatural to disturb or attack us, we can begin the procedure there. Dreg. Well then let's go. Saying that they both left for that area, it was a jungle where no one would interrupt them, since there was no one to bother the duo, Dreg could easily hide her presence in front of the supernatural, so that they would not bother them, therefore it was easy for the procedure to take place. Dreg. Nice choice partner. Asia. Thanks. Dreg. So shall we begin, it would take a week for the procedure to complete. Asia. Well let's begin we anyway have no time to lose as well as we have nothing to lose. But that the duo then decide to start with the procedure. Future dreams need an AI PC with Intel inside. That's Pad High Ka future. Dreg. Partner do not pass out, you need to stay strong. Asia. You are right Dreg, I cannot give up, I need to stay strong, this pain is nothing compared to what Issei went through, let's go Dreg. But that Dreg continued the procedure, it was painful every night Asia healed herself with her sacred gear Twilight Healing, even Dreg who was admired by his host's determination and tenacity, sent some healing energy via the gear to Asia. 7 painful days later, began the next phase of Asia's plan to become stronger. Drake taught her all sorts of spells, including some of his very own spells known as Welsh Dragon Flare, Flamethrower, Firestorm, as well as his signature move Blazing Inferno of Scorching Flames, which is Drake's signature move. It is capable of destroying enemies even as strong as a god including their souls. The only ones that the move is not effective against is Great Red, as well as Office who are dragon gods, as well as his rival Albion. Drake also told her about the Great War, as well as his rivalry with Albion. While Asia initially chuckled at the stupid reason for the fight, she felt bad for doing so when she heard how he ended up being sealed due to his fight with Albion. She was an immense believer in God before how Issei died. After his death she started losing faith in him. She over time learned how to use her flight skills, as well as learned some transforming spells, in order to mask her presence as a dragon, and well to blend in the human world as well. Her spells allowed her to keep her presence hidden in the forest for a long amount of time. Drake. Alright partner, we are going to learn how to use Balance Breaker. Asia. But how? Drake. Well, we have done most of the work, which was training. All we need is a catalyst to trigger it. It can be done with immense emotion. Asia. I think I know how we can do that. Asia remembered how she saw Issei died in her eyes. She remembered the reason on how he was killed. Such emotion brought intense anger inside of her. She knew that she will never let such a thing happen again. Drake. You did it partner, you have achieved Balance Breaker. Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. Asia. So this is how it feels to use Balance Breaker. I feel too powerful. Now I feel like I can protect anyone that cannot be protected. Now no longer will anyone be attacked because of simply having a sacred gear. Drake. You got that right, partner, let's protect some people. Drake. Partner, I sense some people trying to stalk a sacred gear user. I fear they may kill them. Asia, on hearing this, saw her blood boiling. Being a dragon intensified her emotion of anger. She immediately realized that she needed to save this unknown person, while at the same time making her presence unknown to the devils, as well as any other supernatural. Asia. Let's go Drake. But that she headed towards the fallen angels. Well, let's just say that they are gonna have a bad time tonight. But the fallen angels. AN. FA stands for Fallen Angel, and FA stands for Fallen Angel. FA. Is this the human we need to kill? He seems to be pathetic. FA. Well, Kakabiel's orders are absolute, we cannot deny them, let's just kill him and call it a day. But that both fallen angels get ready to deal with the human, they prepare the light spears trying to kill the unsuspecting human, but before they could kill him, they are suddenly met by the arrival of a very angry dragon, who immediately teleports them out of a hidden area. Why, hello there. The fallen angels were surprised to say the least. They did not know what had teleported them to the area away from the human. As for the human, he did not even realize what had happened and he went on his merry way. The fallen angels got themselves ready to fight this unknown opponent. But realized the amour of the opponent as it was familiar, it was the balance breaker of the boosted gear. Assis. Good day to you crows, it is not a pleasure to meet you. FA. What do you want? Why have you teleported us here? Asia. Well, I cannot let you hurt an innocent human simply as they only had a gear from God, you know. FA. Well, he is a threat that needs to be eliminated or else he will destroy the world. Asia. That's a lame excuse and you know it. I doubt they can even hurt pathetic weak crows like you in that state. Considering you were about to kill him without hearing him out, I think you shouldn't proceed with what you are doing right now. FA. If you do not leave, we will kill you, weak dragon. Asia. Last chance, leave and go back to whichever hell you came from. FA and FA. Nope. Asia. So be it. But that Asia rushes at them at speeds faster than they could react. She fired a dragon shot damaging FA before she could even evade or block. She screamed in pain. The second one, getting angry at her friend's injuries, attacked her, but she easily blocked her attacks. Asia. Is that the best you got? Does your leader even train you? FA. You will pay for that. Asia. Looks like that crackhead is pretty weak if he has subordinates like you. AN. Thanks to Drake explaining her about the fallen angels, she knew about them beforehand, including the warmonger Kakabiel. FA. You will pay for insulting Kakabiel Sama like that. Asia. Oh, I don't think so. But that Asia easily lunges at the duo, easily scathing their skins with her aura and speed. She smirks and delivers a roundhouse kick to one while dealing a smackdown to the other, knocking them out cold. Asia. Give your regards to Beel for me. Saying that she used flamethrower, killing both the angels very easily. Asia. So uncivilized. But that she flies away to her hiding spot. She deactivated her balance breaker and decides to take rest for the night. Asia. Hey Drake, I wonder what that redhead is doing, considering her territory is infiltrated by weak crows. Drake. Knowing her, she must be slacking off and drinking tea. Asia. She disappoints me. Speaking of the redhead, with Rias. Ever since Issei's death, she has never been the same, she was always dull as her only hope at beating Riser had dulled off, not to mention she never was the same confident princess she once was, she constantly was haunted by Issei's demise, as well as the words which Asia said to her as she left the church that day. Even the orc has never been the same, since his death, Kaneko as well was dull due to her teammate's demise. She knew that she could have saved him just like her master. She even stopped eating sweets. When the death of Issei was known to her brother Surzich's, he was livid as she was not only negligent, as well as her stupidity and pride resulted in Issei's death. Surzich's. Now you see what happened due to your negligence, you could have easily prevented such a thing to happen, but now you cannot do so. You literally had a golden opportunity to help you in your endeavors, but you let it go. Normally I would punish you by taking your territory away, but I think his death is punishment enough for you. Plus your inevitable marriage with Riser is just an added bonus. Riaz. No brother, there must be something you can do. Surzich's. No, I don't think that I will do anything, let this be a lesson for you. But that he teleports away to the underworld, well sad at the fact that not only her sister is getting married to someone she does not even like, but also an innocent man, the Red Dragon Emperor was lost due to her negligence. He realized that this is her fault. Eventually the day came when a certain silver-haired maid came to her orc and told her that the marriage with Riser had been preponed. This caused a massive uproar, but eventually realized that there is nothing she could do. This was Grafia, wife and queen of Surzich's, who had informed her about the marriage preponing. Riaz. Isn't there anything you could do, Grafia? Grafia. I am afraid not, my lady, the council has already decided your marriage. But that Riaz was even more crestfallen, her fate was sealed, but she knew that there was a way, there was slight hope. A few days later. Riser had visited her and was doing the same things he did to her in canon, like touching her without permission, as well as ogling at her. She eventually had enough and decided to fight Riser. Riser. Are you sure this is your peerage? Riaz. Yes, it is Riser. Riser. Well, Riser thinks that it is not enough, considering Riser has a full set unlike you, you are surprisingly weak. But the snap of his fingers an entire peerage of 6 people appear, they were all women that were tremendously strong, she knew that she had no chance against him, especially after she lost to Issei. Riaz viewed the peerage in disgust as she saw Riser making out with his queen in front of everyone, even her peerage was disgusted at his actions. Well, she knew that there was only one way to prevent the marriage, a rating game. Grafia. Well, the council has agreed, 0 days will be given for the rating game. Riser. Alright then, Riser will be enjoying your defeat. But that both Riaz and Riser leave through their portals, she knew that in 0 days something would happen, a small hope would still be there in their eyes. Riaz. Alright, we will be leaving tomorrow, train like your lives depend on it, we will show that the of us are enough to win this game. All 3 members. Yes, President. But that they head to the villa to train. An. It is basically the same as it is gonna be in canon, but with Issei and Asia's absence. The day of the rating game came, all were ready despite being demoralized. The rating game was quite quick, the Gremory peerage were only able to defeat 2 of Riser's pawns, and her bishop, even Akeno her queen, couldn't stand a chance against Riser's queen. This was a complete and humiliating defeat for Riaz, as she was unable to defeat Riser. The rating game ended with Riaz's defeat, she was going to end up being engaged. At the marriage hall. It was an engagement party, we could see many nobles as well as several devil heirs to the kingdom showing up, they knew of Riaz's struggles, but eventually knew that her fate was inevitable. Riser. Thank you everyone for coming to Riser's wedding, as you can see that this is a big event for all devils as well as the supernatural in general, now may I present you my beautiful bride Riaz Gremory. Riaz Gremory could be seen on the altar dressed ready for the wedding, she had a sad look on her face, barely controlling her tears, she knew that her fate was sealed. Even her peerage's fate was sealed, she could see them with pitiful looks as they also knew that no one was going to save her, and her fate was inevitable. Greg. Partner, I feel this is a bad idea, I don't think they are gonna believe you, considering you never met them. Asia. They must know what happened to their son, after all he has gone missing for months they must have filled a missing persons report. Greg. I agree but still not a lot of people believe in the supernatural. Asia. Alright, here goes nothing. But that Asia rings the doorbell, she was welcomed by an elderly woman, this was Ms. Haidu, mother of Issei Haidu, while she was confused at the presence of a blonde woman at the door, she lets her in not sensing any malicious intent in the blonde, she then introduces herself at the door, and she lets herself inside the house. Asia. I want to tell you something. Ms. Haidu. Go ahead. Asia. It is about your son, I guess you know that he has been missing for months now. Ms. Haidu. What son, I do not have a son. Asia shocked, what do you mean, isn't Issei your son? Ms. Haidu. No, I do not have a son, I never did. Asia. But how can this be? Ms. Haidu. I guess you have got the wrong person, Ms. Argento. Greg. I can sense some magic in them, it seems that their memories were wiped clean from their heads. Asia. But who would want them to forget about their own son? Greg. My guess is that redhead, Ria's Gremory, she must have wiped their memories off, she probably could not live with her own failure, thus she came here back to them to completely wipe off their memory. Plus she had done it before when my former partner did not sense my presence inside of his body. The presence of devil magic in her body confirms about my suspicions. Asia. How could they? On hearing this, Asia became livid, she was emitting a silent aura, not a lot of people can sense that Ria's made his parents forget about their one and only son, how could they be this cruel and vindictive, she knew that it was of no use staying there. She decided to leave before the devils could sense her. Greg. Partner, calm down, the devils would sense you. Asia. Right. Asia. Sorry for bothering you, ma'am, I guess I really found the wrong person, I thought I was at the right address, my bad. I will be seeing myself out. Ms. Haidu. Do you not want to have anything before you leave, like some snacks? Asia. No thank you, ma'am, but I would like to thank you for your hospitality and your offer. See ya. But that Asia headed towards Kuo Academy, the place where the occult research club was, she knew that she had to confront Ria's and her peerage for what she did to the Haidu family, she needed answers. Asia. Ria's Gremory, you better have a proper explanation for what you did to the Haidu family, or else you will suffer the wrath of the Red Dragon Emperor. Asia headed towards the academy, and when she went inside she saw Issei's two friends, the now perverted duo, she was getting vulgar stares from the boys in her academy, and realized that these boys are a bunch of hypocrites for calling Issei an pervert, yet they are more perverted than he is, she was disgusted at their hypocritical attitude, when she questioned about Issei to his two friends, she realized that even they had been mind-wiped thanks to Ria's, she eventually heads to the orc. Where she sees the redhead in a much paler state. Asia. Ria's, what did you do? Asia continued to speak only to realize that Ria's had been in a much weaker state, she could see bags under her eyes as she was unable to sleep, her makeup was out of place, she could also sense that she was much weaker than who she once was, the prideful princess of Kuo, now reduced to such a miserable state. The negligence had taken a massive toll on her. Ria's. Weakly, who's the Asia is that Yo-Yu? Asia felt pitiful, the kind-hearted nun that was once present in there was still present, as much as she wanted to console Ria's, she wanted to help her with her problems, but then she remembered what she had done, she remembered what she did to Issei's parents, she decided that she wanted answers. Asia. What did you do to Issei's parents, why they can't remember anything about their son, why can't anyone remember about Issei? Ria's. Well Asia. Answer me, woman. Ria's was taken aback by the outburst. Normally, she would respond in kind by fighting back, but now she is just a shell of her former self. Ria's. I mind-wipe them because of Issei, they must not remember their deaths, his parents will break down, students in the school would mock him for being weak, he would be disgraced even further. I cannot stand watching him being disgraced even more. Asia wanted to say something, but knew the redhead is right, she knew that this would have happened as she saw how they were treating the perverted duo, she knew that this school is pretty cruel when it comes to treatment of Issei, as for his parents, she felt they deserved to know about his demise, but she saw Ria's point. Asia. Well, but they still deserve to know considering it's their son, but then why are you in this condition, I thought you wouldn't be guilty, since he was just a mere pawn. Ria's got angry at the statement, but before she could do anything, she was interrupted by Akeno, her queen, her condition was bad, she lacked makeup, had dark circles, she was also in a weaker state, she also had messy hair. Asia wondered what had happened to the orc when she was away, guilt of Issei's death alone did not cause this, she knew that something far worse had happened to them. Akeno. I can explain that. Asia. Go ahead. Asia listened patiently to what the queen had to say. Akeno. Well, you see, Ria's is now engaged to Riser. Asia. I do not see a problem. Akeno. Let me explain. She then told about the rating game as well as her engagement, she also told what type of a man Riser is, she also told how he was treating her, like she was some sort of toy and not a simple person, for him Ria's was nothing but a trophy. Asia felt disturbed and angry at the thought of another person being toyed with, but realized she was responsible for her own fate. Thanks to her vigilance, the hunt for sacred gear users by the Fallen has reduced drastically, she decided to not taunt her regarding Riser even further. Asia. Now I know why you needed Issei's help, Ria's, if you had just told him about everything, told him about Rainer, told him the reason for his recruitment, he would have happily helped you, he would have been alive, and none of this would have happened. Asia wept at the last part, she still held herself responsible for his demise, Ria's on the other hand felt more guilty for her negligence, she cried even more, Asia on seeing this couldn't control herself, and decided to help the redhead. Asia is still the same person who she once was. She may be driven by a desire to protect, but her personality has not been changed. Asia. Is there anything I can help you with situation Riaz? I am afraid you cannot Asia. Asia. Ha Kiba, but why? Kiba. Because her engagement had already been completed, and in the underworld once an engagement had been completed, it cannot be broken unless one of the two partners cheats on the other with another person. Asia. I see, well I will take my leave, good day to you Riaz. But that Asia leaves a crying Riaz with Akeno and Kiba. She decided to move back to her hiding spot when she saw two church sword wielders. She gritted at the teeth towards the people who had once discarded her for showing simple kindness to healing a devil. Asia. While controlling her anger, well, what does our two church wielders doing here in devil territory? Nothing much, we were just visiting an old friend. Say, do you know where the hiatus live? Asia gritted that they know about their friend Issei. She wanted to tear them apart, but Drake calmed his host down as he did not want her to fight the church. Asia. Why should I tell you about their location? Listen, we do not want any trouble, we just want to get this over with quickly, so do not get in our way. Asia got ready to fight but was interrupted by the other one's words. Calm down Zenobia, sorry she is sometimes too hot-headed, my name is Irina. As for our purpose, we wanted to see my childhood friend Issei, I heard he still lives here. Asia. Oh, do I have a story to tell you? But that Asia leads them away from Issei's house as she takes them to a part. While Zenobia was skeptical at the former nun's offer, she eventually accepted it. She told them everything what had happened, from his reincarnation into a devil, to his demise at the hands of the fallen angel, as well as him being mind-wiped from existence from everyone's memories. Both the girls were extremely livid, especially Irina. She was radiating with aura. She now realized that she had just lost her childhood friend, killed due to the fallen's hands. She knew that she had loved him as he was her childhood. She now lost him as well. She began to cry tremendously as he is no more. Asia, on seeing this, comforted her as she was the only one who knew, nevertheless remembered to say. Asia. I am sorry for yelling at you earlier. Irina. I now know your anger towards them. I now know why you got angry when you heard his family's name. I am grateful you avenged him. I am happy that he has not changed, even managed to make a loyal friend like you as a result. Asia blushed at Irina's statement. She knew that she was the only one who cared for her friend while she was not present. Asia. So what now? Irina. Well, we were planning to visit the devils in church to prevent them from getting in our way, but… Asia. Don't visit them. Zenobia. Why? Asia. Well, I just did before you meeting you guys, and let's just say they were not in a good condition. I don't think they would even get in our way of taking care of Kakabiel. Irina. But we can at least tell them about our mission. Asia. Well then let's go Tomro. Irina. Well, Asia was right, her condition is bad, nay worse, they knew of his demise, so I feel they are responsible for their fate. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to come here. Then you must know the purpose of our visit. We cannot let the devils intervene in our quest to find the Excaliburs. They have been stolen by the fallen angels. So our higher-ups have ordered us to retrieve them safely. Riaz. This is my territory and I feel like I must be involved. I must fight the monster who took my ice away. Both Irina and Asia were furious at that statement. Her ice, what was she even thinking? Her negligence is the reason he is dead, but before they could say, Zenobia responded. Zenobia. I understand the devil's involvement, they want to destroy the fragments. I know that you do not want to avenge Issei. Also do not mistake that if you get in our way, I won't spare you. Riaz. You dare threaten me in my territory. Zenobia. I do not care if you are the sister of Lucifer, I will take you down if I have to. Both were getting ready to fight when Irina decided to intervene. Irina. Stop it you two, Zenobia, we are here to talk, not fight, we just wanted you guys to let the matter to ourselves. Asia. Considering what is going on in your territory with the fallen running amok, I guess you should leave the matter to us. Kiba. I cannot let you do that. Zenobia. Who are you supposed to be? Kiba. Your senior, let's fight, if we win you get us involved. Zenobia. So be it. An. The fight is the same, with both Irina and Zenobia winning, however the fight is interrupted by the arrival of none other than the crackhead himself. Kakabiel shows up. Kakabiel. Good day to you, sister of Lucifer, your red hair makes me sick. Riaz. What the hell are you doing here, fallen leader? Kakabiel. Well, I thought by stealing the swords, it would provoke the angels, but they only send me these two weaklings. Next I would be destroying this entire city, provoking Surziches as well. My goal is to do something big. Asia. Well, if it isn't the crackhead warmonger Kakabiel, to what do I owe the displeasure? Kakabiel. Ah, the red dragon is also here. Good, just great to start things off with a workout. Well, let's see what we can destroy first. Ah, the Kuo Academy is sure to gather some attention. Maybe then I can kill the two swordsmen, thus provoking the angels. But that Kakabiel and the others decide to head to Kuo Academy to fight it out. The Citri and the Phoenix Peerage are on standby, knowing that a fight would begin. The Citri Peerage focuses on the barrier, while the Phoenix Peerage helps the Grimoire Peerage, the two swordsmen as well as Asia to deal with him. Kakabiel. It is good to start a war. So are you guys proud to meet a great war veteran? Asia. Not really, we are not interested in the elf form of a crack addict who is surprisingly weak for a leader. Kakabiel. That's it DE. But that the battle begins between the teams, the Grimoire Peerage focuses on taking down Valper Galilei and Freed, the Phoenix and the swordsmen take care of the Hellhounds, while Asia handles the leader Kakabiel himself. AN. The fight is the same with Kibo unlocking his balance breaker, Sword of Betrayer, resulting in the defeat and deaths of both Valper and Freed, also the Hellhounds were easily dealt with. Asia. Tell me, were you the one who ordered Raynor to kill Issei? Kakabiel. You mean the Red Dragon boy? Yes, it was me. Asia. Now you will perish, you damn crow. Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. Kakabiel. So this is the dragon's balance breaker. I must say it is quite impressive for a low-like human like you to activate it. Asia. Wrong again, I am a dragon. Did the times make you weak or are you into crack that much? Kakabiel. Stop mocking me, dragon. Asia. Then how would you like to be mocked? I take requests. Kakabiel. Jaya. But that the fight truly begins, with no side holding back. Asia wanted vengeance against the man, and Kakabiel wanted to deal with the dragon that mocked the great Kakabiel. They were going toe to toe with extreme speed. Kakabiel. I have never felt this good since the Great War, it is good to be back. Asia. Let our fists do the talking, crow. Kakabiel then responded by throwing a lot of light spears at the dragon's face, but she easily dodged as well as deflected each and every one of them with extreme precision. She knew that this is gonna be a fight of her life. She used every single fire spell to weaken Kakabiel, who used his wings to protect himself from any damage. Asia started to get exhausted as she was unable to keep up, while Kakabiel knew that he could not block the attacks for much longer. He knew that he had to finish her and strike. Kakabiel used all his magic to create one final light spear to fight against the former nun, throwing at her speeds faster than the eye could see. He aimed it at her heart, but Asia predicted his light spear throw. She easily dodged it and then responded with a dragon shot to the face, which was a direct hit. It caused the fallen leader to bleed, thus making him really angry. Kakabiel. Damn you, red dragon, damn you, how are you this strong? Asia. Push-ups, sit-ups and plenty of juice. Kakabiel, now being open, was too exhausted to even continue the fight, leaving him to the assault of the vengeful nun. She easily tore into him, dealing a massive amount of damage to his bones and skin. She easily used Long Ina Smasher, dealing a massive amount of damage to the fallen angel. Kakabiel was bleeding, had his head smashed as well as he was unable to even stand due to the exhaustion and damage to his internal organs. But Asia was not done. She easily used her draconic strength to pummel him into oblivion. By the end of the onslaught, Kakabiel had several broken bones and was bleeding from all ends. Kakabiel. Please, no more. Asia. Very well, then die. Welsh Dragon Flare. But that the body of Kakabiel was no more, he was dead. Outside the barrier. Sona. Saji, focus. Saji. Yes, President. Sona. Only me and Tsubaki are left with any strength, even Saji is down. Sona. What the is that? The white light came, destroying the barrier in a second. Saji. Oh come on, we just made that. But that Saji passes out. Meanwhile with Asia. I am here to take Kakabiel back. Wait, he is dead. What am I gonna tell Azazel? Are you the one who killed him? Points at Asia. Asia. Yeah, I killed him, so. Oh okay, I was only asked to bring him in if he was alive. Oh well. Dreg. It has been a while, Albion. Albion. Yeah, it has been Dreg. Asia. So he is the White Dragon Emperor, huh? So are you going to fight me, White Dragon? Not yet, our inevitable battle will happen soon, rival, we will fight till our heart's content. Asia. Do not disappoint me, rival. I could say the same to you too, rival. Albion. Both our hosts are extremely strong, this battle will be interesting. Dreg. Still love battling, do you? Well, time will tell who wins. But that the White Dragon Emperor leaves, the area Asia is happy that there is someone who is as strong as me. Arena. What should we do? God is dead, I do not know what else is left for us to do. Irina said in a voice full of dread and despair. Zenobia. I realized our whole lives, the church had lied to us, they knew that we wouldn't be affected if the truth never came out, we thought that the blessings received by God was genuine, but it was received by Archangel Michael himself, damn it. But Asia was not that affected by the truth, given that she lost her faith in God due to a certain incident. She was still affected by to an extent, given that once upon a time, she was also a nun who once had believed in God. She was also questioning about the blessings and realized how far the church had fallen. She knew that they would hunt her down, given that she was the Red Dragon Emperor, as well as the one who defeated Cacabiel. Asia. Well, that was certainly a day, knowing God's demise, as well as meeting the White Dragon Emperor. I am still shocked by the fact that God is dead. I thought he would be alive, considering the faith of people in God have reduced over the years. I should not be affected as much as a normal person, but here I am. Zenobia. How are you not much affected like us? Asia. Well, I lost faith in him a long time ago, due to realizing how alone I was during my fight against Raynor. I knew that no one was going to help us, so I had to fight him by myself. Asia said, shrugging. Zenobia and Irina were shocked at how the once strong devotee of God had all of a sudden lost faith in the man that was once her sole purpose of living. They now realized why people were losing faith in the man that once created humanity, as well as the angels, and indirectly the fallen angels as well as the devils. They decided to return to their rooms, given that it was a hefty day for everyone, and also that they needed rest due to the fight. In Asia's room. Asia. Hey Dreg. What is it, partner? Asia. What are your thoughts about God's demise? Dreg. I am actually shocked as well as happy that the old man is dead. I knew that someday this might happen, considering that he is not the strongest in the world after all. As for the happy party was the reason why my freedom was stripped away, as well as the reason I am still trapped in this gear. Asia. Dreg. Do not act shocked, there are beings known as Office and Great Red that are way stronger than him. They are called dragon gods for a reason. Then there is Shiva, the god of destruction in the Hindu mythology, who is also stronger than him. Asia. You know what they say, before creation comes destruction. Dreg. Hahaha, you got that right, partner, now let's get some rest. Asia. Yeah. But before they could rest, a red circle appears in which a devil appears before him. Asia. Hurrias. No, I am her older brother, Serzich's Lucifer. Asia got ready to fight this unknown being. Serzich's. I am not here to fight you, Red Dragon, I am here for something else. Do not worry, I won't hurt you or your friends. Asia. How can I trust you? Serzich's. You have my word, what is your name? Asia. My name is Asia Argento. Serzich's. I am pleased to meet you, Miss Asia. Thanks to you nothing has happened to my sister or her peerage, as well as no war had happened between the factions. The Excaliburs were returned to the angels thanks to the actions of you and your friends, and because of that there was no war needed, and the warmonger got what he deserved. Asia. He sure did, he is the reason Issei is dead, he is the reason I am all alone once again. Asia said the last part crying. She breaks down when she remembers him. She still blamed herself for his demise. She knew that she wasn't strong enough to protect him, but she sure knew that such a thing would never happen. Serzich's stiffened at this, as mentally strong as he is, he knew that it was her sister's actions that resulted in his demise. He knew that he was partly responsible for his demise. Dreg. Partner. Serzich's could not control himself, he immediately got Asia into his embrace. The blonde was constantly weeping. She realized this comfort. She never had felt this comfort since a long time. She knew that someone needed to help her with her trauma. She wept endlessly into him and for a long time. Serzich's. It is okay, Asia, let it out, keeping it bottled in would only make it worse. Asia cried endlessly into him. She knew that he might help her, someone might help her. Hope was still there, that knew she needed to be hopeful, given that things may get worse for her later on. Asia. Drying her tears, I am sorry Lucifer-sama, I ruined your dress. Serzich's. No, it is okay, I know how it feels to lose people. Serzich's paused for a minute to let the blonde compose herself and then told her the reason for his invitation. Serzich's. The real reason I came here was so that I could invite you to the peace conference happening between the factions. I want you to be there, since you were the one that killed Cacabiel. Asia. Why should I be there? Serzich's. Because we want an alliance so that we do not have more casualties in an upcoming war due to our differences. We also want to protect the sacred gear users from any attacks by the supernatural, and to train them as well, so that no one will ever die again. Asia realized that this was a mission that she took up, a promise she made to Issei before he passed away. She knew that if the peace conference happened, then there will be no war, and thus no more deaths. She knew that this is what Issei would have also wanted. She immediately realized what she needed to do. Asia. I will come with you guys. Serzich's. Great, the peace conference will happen in Kuo Academy, you know where that is? Asia. Yeah, I will come there on time. Serzich's. Thank you, Asia. But that Serzich's teleports out of there to prepare the conference along with Seraphil. Little does she know that this might be a biggest disaster of her life. Asia decides to inform both Zenobia and Irina about the peace conference. She knew that they also needed to be there, since without them the peace conference would never have had happened. She knew that with this conference, such a thing known as peace would have never been possible. While Asia was heading towards the school due to the peace conference, she was met by an unknown yet familiar face. Asia. Do I know you? Greg. Partner, be careful, he is the white one. So, we meet again, rival. Asia knew who this being is. He is the wielder of the White Dragon Emperor. He is the one that showed up after her fight with Kakabiel. She knew that he is strong, considering he already unlocked his balance breaker. Asia. I take it that you are the White Dragon Emperor. You seem to be smart, you remember me. But that volley approached her. Asia got ready for her fight against the White Dragon Emperor, however she knew that it may be destructive, so she had planned to take it far away from the civilian population. Jill, I am not here to fight you, my name is Bali, the current White Dragon Emperor. You seem to be very strong considering you managed to defeat Kakabiel. I had say you would be in the top 0-0 when it comes to strength alone. Our fight will be pretty good if you keep on training in order to become stronger. Asia. You flatter me, Bali. Bali. I would like to have our test of strength, a small match. Asia. Like right now. Bali. During the conference is when we would actually fight. Asia. But isn't the conference supposed to be of peace? Bali. You will see, wait, and what rival? But saying that, Bali teleports out of there. She knew that she might fight him someday, considering Drake already informed her about the rivalry for generations, as well as their inevitable fight. She considered training for the fight pretty soon. She was interrupted in her thoughts by Zenobia and Irina. Zenobia. So this is where the meeting is supposed to be held. Irina. Yeah, it seems so. Asia. Let's not waste much time and head there. I have a personal question for the Governor General of the Fallen Angels, Azazel. I and X. Yeah, let us go. But that the trio head towards the school to attend the meeting of the Alliance. They were constantly getting stared by the males of the school. The trio were being uncomfortable with the stares. They knew they had to get out of there. Asia sighed. Asia. You will get used to it. Zenobia. Probably never, the stares were making me uncomfortable. Irina. They berated Issei, yet they are far worse than us. They constantly were staring at us even when we were not interested in them. They humiliated and mocked my friend due to his perversion, yet they themselves are far more perverted than us. Asia. You got that right, Irina. The trio head towards the conference room, where they could see Azazel, Michael the head of the angels, Serziches as well as Seraphol, another fellow devil king. Asia could also see the Gremory, Citri and the Phoenix Peerage. She could see that the condition of Riaz was far better than what she was during the last time she had visited them. She knew that she has been keeping better due to the fight. Serziches saw that Asia had appeared in the conference. He was happy that she had appeared there, along with her two friends. Riaz saw them and smiled as they made their entrance in hall. The meeting was about to get started. Serziches. So let the peace meeting begin. Michael. From what I have known, the whole mess is due to the fallen angel leader Kakabiel. I guess Azazel should take responsibility for what had happened. Azazel. I know this is my mess. Kakabiel was already a rogue subordinate of mine. I preferred to research sacred gears than have a war. I am a collector. Kakabiel did not like my stance on the war, therefore he went rogue. He therefore is responsible for his own fate. Azazel said nonchalantly. Michael was skeptical. Serziches sighed at Azazel's carelessness. He knew that he does not want the pressure of being blamed. Asia could only view it as carelessness and wonder if he is really fit for being a leader. She wanted to ask about the actions of the fallen angels, since they were the ones that did most of the damage to the human population, due to them being the sacred gear wielders. She also wanted to ask Michael about the excommunication of both Irina and Zenobia. Seraphol. Now we can stop blaming each other and just make peace already. I want to go home for my magical girl shoot. Serziches. Seraphol is right, we also declare peace. Michael. I see no reason to not fight, I too declare peace. Azazel. Heh, that's more like it, even I declare peace. But that the peace treaty was signed, Azazel then asked both the emperors on what their opinion on peace was. Ali. I just want to fight strong opponents, I really do not care about peace. Asia. I have a dream, to protect the sacred gear wielders from the supernatural. It seems like my dream of protecting the sacred gear wielders is now going to be a reality, so I have no desire to be against this peace. But know this, I am not against the recruitment practices of humans by the devils into the supernatural, given it is their choice. So with it the treaty of peace was declared. Asia then decided that it was the right time to ask her question. Asia. I need to ask Azazel about this. Why weren't you there to prevent the fallen's execution of innocent human because of their sacred gear? It was because of this Issei had died, because one of your subordinate Rainer killed him for his sacred gear. Azazel knew what she meant. He was briefed about Issei by Surziches. He blamed himself responsible for not stopping Kakabiel when the time was right, nor did he try to save Issei himself. Riaz once again became depressed when Asia mentioned about the chestnut's demise. She still had nightmares about his death. She knew that she wanted to at least befriend Asia, as it may at least give her inner peace. Azazel. I know this is my fault. I blame myself for not stopping them before it was too late. I also know that you were doing my job of stopping them before it is too late. I do not hold you accountable for their deaths. They knew what they were doing. From what I have heard, you even gave them a chance to surrender, but they refused. So thank you, Asia Argento. But that Azazel stood up and bowed towards Asia. The blonde was shocked at this expression. She knew that no one would bow unless they are grateful for what that person did. She then asks Michael her question. Asia. Lord Michael, why was Irina and Zenobia excommunicated? Michael. It is because I did not want anyone to know about his demise. It would cause all-around chaos. We already are losing a lot of believers in God over the past 00 years, ever since he died. Things are not better since we have been losing the angel population, since not only our powers have dwindled due to the lack of believers, but also we have no way to bring in new angels, since their creator is dead. To further prevent people from leaving the church, we decided to keep this a secret, as well as excommunicate those who may be a threat to its beliefs, as well as anyone who knew about God's demise. Asia. I see. But that Surziches had concluded the meeting. It was decided in the meeting that the factions would help each other in the re-establishment of the factions. The devils would share their evil peace technology with the other two factions. The fallen angels would share the sacred gear research, as well as their technology with the other two factions. And finally the angels, who would share the healing facilities, as well as their abilities towards the other two factions. They even made a conclusion to only let those that are interested in joining the factions be considered, even preventing the hunt for sacred gear wielders who may be a possible threat to them, and only those that are actually a threat will be dealt with. Surziches. With that peace will be held. Before Surziches could continue, all of a sudden time stopped. This time the peerages as well as their guards were time stopped. The wielder of the forbidden Baylor view had been kidnapped. The leaders, Zenobia, Irina, Vali and Asia, were the only ones that were unaffected by this ability. Azazel. Looks like the vampire boy has been kidnapped. Surziches. Gasper, Asia, would you help us in retrieving him, then only we can attack them. Ali. This is so boring, I am just sitting there. Azazel. Then why don't you go and cause some mayhem? The White Dragon Emperor would surely cause some trouble in their ranks. Ali. Gladly. But that Vali leaves and causes some complications in their attacks. Eventually the threat of the attack was reduced enough so to give enough time for Asia to infiltrate the Orc HQ to retrieve its wielder to safety. AN. The scene is pretty much the same from season, but the only difference is that Asia is the one that rescues Gasper from the Nilrame magicians. The fight of Azazel with Kateria Leviathan has the same outcome, with Azazel using his downfall dragon balance breaker, resulting in the death of the old Satan faction general. Also, by the time Gasper was rescued from the magicians, the time had reverted back to normal. Azazel relaxes after his fight with Kateria. He is suddenly attacked by Vali, who easily knocked him to the ground. Azazel. I must be getting old to actually get hit, so Vali what gives. Vali. Sorry Azazel, this side looked kind of interesting, so I decided to join them. Asia. So this is your big surprise. Vali. Yeah, I decided to join them instead of the alliance. Asia. Bad move Vali, bad move. But that Asia engages Vali in their inevitable fight. Vali may have the upper hand due to his training, but Asia is a being that was far stronger than he had ever faced. Her dragon physiology had allowed her to not only keep up with Vali, but also had allowed her to damage Vali with her own attacks. Azazel. I have been hearing about this new organization that was against a peace in the alliance from one of my official Shemazai. They are known as the Cows Brigade, isn't it? Vali. You got that right, Azazel. But unlike them, I am not interested in world domination, nor am I interested in its destruction. I only want to fight strong beings, but allow me to introduce myself. My name is Vali Lucifer, son of the devil Lucifer and a human mother. But that Vali showed his 8 wings. All of the ones present in the alliance were shocked, especially Surziches, who didn't know that the descendant of Lucifer had existed. He also knew that this would cause a huge uproar in the devil community. He decided to keep this a secret. Vali. Also, the leader of Chaos Brigade is none other than Office, the Ouroboros dragon. Asia. You've got to be kidding me. Riaz. It can't be, the Ouroboros dragon. Vali. Yes. Asia. So what now, are we gonna continue fighting, or are you gonna boast your heritage? It seems like a very good heritage to project on. Vali. You have no idea about what I have been through. Asia. Yeah, let's just fight already. But that Volley and Asia fight again, punches, kicks and magical powers were thrown on each other. Asia never had fun fighting against an opponent who was almost equal to her power. Volley was having a blast of his life, even the dragons were enjoying their fights. They have been bored with a single outcome, but now they are enjoying like it is their time of their lives. That's when Volley decided to push Asia, big mistake. Volley. So I heard that you were a weak nun, before becoming the Red Dragon Emperor, you even failed to save your friend who was killed by a pathetically weak fallen angel. Asia. Volley don't. Volley. Oh maybe, I can kill those two friends, then you can be a true avenger. Asia. Damn it Volley. But that the angered dragon lunges at Volley, she overwhelmed him dealing severe punches and kicks to Volley, breaking his balance breaker as well as a few bones. Albion was worried about his host getting severely damaged. Volley. Coughs blood. I never thought you would be this strong, well then I must use it then, the Juggernaut drive. Asia. No Volley don't. I, who am about to awaken. I'm the heavenly dragon who has taken the principles of supremacy from God. I envy the infinite and I pursue the dream. I shall become the white dragon of supremacy. And I shall take you to the limits of white paradise. Juggernaut drive. Volley. So how does this power feel rival? Asia. How? Greg. My guess is that he is using his own demonic magic instead of his life force as a substitute. Smart move I must say. Azazel. He is but a joke of an existence to be this powerful, being the son of Lucifer, he would be the strongest white dragon emperor in all of existence. Volley. Allow me to show you a small dose of my power. Asia. Knowing his intentions, no Volley don't. But that he throws a concentrated blast of power towards the Gremory peerage, before they could respond or react, they were all destroyed within the blast. Everyone was shocked at this attack at how an entire peerage was wiped out in a single blast. Surziches, Grafia and Sona only watched in terror as their sister friend was wiped out in a single blast. Surziches cried in agony as he lost his only sister in a blast that was not easy to avoid. The Juggernaut drive started to take control of Volley, turning him into a mindless beast. The Juggernaut drive is considered to be one of the most dangerous transformation. It can easily dull the consciousness of a person, making them go on a rampage, killing anyone that comes across. Azazel and Asia. Enraged, damn it, Volley. But only a roar was given as a response. They knew that Volley was long gone, only the beast remained. Asia had decided to put his rival down once and for all. Asia. Alright then let's fight. As with the alliance we could see Surziches and Grafia weeping over the death of Riaz as well as their peerages, both were pretty devastated at their demises, they were barely able to keep track on what was going on, they knew that it was a beast that killed their sister. Meanwhile Sona and Riser were also saddened by the loss of their best friend fiancé, they were also unable to keep holding their tears, and they were as well crying. Meanwhile Asia was constantly destroying Volley, using her draconic flame abilities, as well as her super strength to endlessly pummel the beast into oblivion. Drake was constantly boosting the abilities of Asia in order to deal devastating damage to Volley, who over time was constantly dealing with punches and kicks from all directions. Being a mindless beast had its flaws, he was unable to keep up with the attacks and eventually started to break. We could see Volley in his barely conscious state just hovering above Asia. He eventually woke up and saw what had happened. Asia. You are too dangerous to be left alive. But that Asia rips apart the divine dividing from Volley's body, making him scream in pain and terror. Blood poured out where the sacred gear was. Asia then tried to incorporate the sacred gear into her body. Greg. Partner, you cannot put that sacred gear into your body, we are opposite existences, we cannot be in one body. Asia. I must try. But that Asia manages to incorporate the gear into her body, this caused her excruciating pain, making the pain from the ritual seem like the walk in a park, she was screaming while the gear was being inserted into her body. Drake could only watch in pity as his host tried to do something which was impossible, he knew that Asia was strong-willed, but will she be able to keep up with the pain? He only prayed for his host to not die in the process. Asia. I did it, I managed to incorporate the gear into my body. Greg and Azazel. Impossible. Asia now had wings similar to that of the divine dividing, now she was both the red dragon and the white dragon emperor at the same time, she was basically two dragons in one body, she was now powerful than a lot of supernatural beings. Greg. Roaring in laughter, ha 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 ha, you seem to manage to do the impossible, partner, first you survived from the ritual and now you have a sacred gear that is the complete opposite of mine. I must say Albion will receive the biggest shock of his life, you are the strongest partner I have ever had. Volley. How can this be, how did you manage to place two sacred gears into your body? Asia. I have a lot of pain tolerance and determination. I can do anything. Asia then proceeds to brutally torture Volley for his actions against the Alliance, as well as the Gremory peerage, she then tries to finish Volley with a fire blast. But before she could do, a man with a staff appears and interrupts their fight. Sorry but Red Dragon, but I cannot let you kill him. Asia. You better have a good reason for interrupting our fight, Yao Kai. Sorry, but I have orders to take him with me. By the way, my name is Biku, I am this generation's descendant of Sun Wukong. Azazel. Sarcastically, the Monkey King and this generation's White Dragon Emperor, you seem to be truly compatible. Biku. Kekaki. He got that correct, points to Volley, you seem to be in pretty bad shape. Volley. Just shut up and get us out of here. But that both Volley and Biku teleport out of there, Asia could only watch in surprise. The hybrid dragon empress knew that the alliance meeting went well, but at what cost? Riaz and her team is dead, Surziches is devastated, Azazel knowing that his surrogate son might die, and is also a part of a terrorist group, is also pretty sad. Everyone else was in shock. Everyone decides to call it a day and leave for their homes. Surziches decided to go back to the Gremory mansion to inform his parents about his sister's demise. Then he can grieve over Riaz when he is alone in his private room. Grafia herself was devastated at her demise, but was managing to barely keep control of her emotions. Asia then meets up with Zenobia and Irina, who had refused Michael's offer to rejoin the church. Asia. Wow, I can't believe he did such a thing. Irina. Even though I am not that sad at Ria's death, I feel bad for her brother, he did not deserve this. Zenobia agrees to Irina's statement, she also was not that close with a redhead, but knew that she did not deserve such a terrible fate. Asia. Let's call it a day and head back home, we need to compose ourselves for what comes next. We now know that a whole terrorist group is out there waiting to unleash some damage onto the factions. X and I. Yeah, we should probably rest. But that the trio head home. At the Gremory mansion. It was an event, funeral of the Riaz Gremory, the now former matriarch of the Gremory family. It was a grim sight to behold. There was the entire Gremory family present, along with the Citri family and peerage Phoenix family and their peerages, along with Michael, Gabriel, Asia, Zenobia and Irina. The women of the Gremory family were silently weeping on the death of their daughter sister-in-law. Both Barakwil and Surziches who were present were silent on the inside, grieving for their daughter sister. With the heavy heart, Zerocitus Gremory, the current patriarch of the Gremory household, gave a speech. Zerocitus. Thank you all for coming to the funeral. As you can see, we have lost 4 innocent souls, killed by the terrorist known as Volley Lucifer. She did not deserve this, she was a kind-hearted woman who only wanted good for her peerage and her territory. She tried to make amends for her actions that resulted in the death of someone in her peerage. She was a kind-hearted and selfless woman who only wanted others to be happy and be safe. It was then several other people from the Gremory, Citri as well as Riser Phoenix himself, who gave nothing but positive and kind words for the deceased. Everyone was shocked at how Riser had changed during his time spent with Riaz Gremory. Not only did he decide to change himself to become worthy of her love, but also started treating his servants as well as low-class devils with care and respect. His parents were proud of the man he had become. A few moments later. We can see Surziches in a balcony looking at the sky, his eyes focused on the stars, tears coming from his eyes. He had lost his sister, someone he had cherished a lot in his life. Being a leader allowed him to control his emotions to a certain extent, but he couldn't keep it in himself for much longer. Tears were constantly falling from his eyes. Surziches. It is a terrible day to reign, huh? Azazel then calls him to talk. Surziches immediately wipes out his tears and decides to have his conversation with him. His relation with the fallen angel leader had deteriorated a bit due to Ria's demise. He knew that it wasn't his fault. But he decided to keep his distance away so as to not injure him. Surziches. Masking his anger, what do you want, Azazel? If it is about the alliance, it is still going to happen irrespective of the situation. Azazel. No, I am not here for that. Surziches. Then what? Azazel was taken aback by the outburst, but didn't respond as he knew that he didn't raise Volley well. He failed him as a father, thus causing Ria's death. Azazel. I am here to tell you that any punishment you give him I would accept. Surziches. I want that devil dead. Azazel. That is if he is still alive. Surziches. What do you mean? Azazel then explains him what happens with the sacred gear being removed and it being integrated into Asia's body. He also explains Volley's near-death condition after the removal of the gear. Surziches. Dreadful, I didn't know she was capable of doing that and surviving. I know what happens when a sacred gear is removed, the strain is so much that they end up dying. Now Asia has become more stronger than what she was before. Azazel. Yeah, that's what worries me the most, she now has both Drake and Albion by her side, she is not someone that you want to be enemies with. Surziches. You are right, she is still allied with us even after what had happened due to her fault. We must not bother her unless it is necessary, especially if we want the alliance to grow into all mythological factions. Both Azazel and Xerxes decided to do what they need to do next, is to bring the Norse faction into the alliance, thus strengthening the faction's powers. They knew that they have to become united against the threat known as the Cows Brigade. Otherwise they would all have the same fate as Rhea's Gremory. Meanwhile in a different dimension. Nothing I am doing is working. Even my spells are ineffective and useless, it is not healing him at all. There were people who were attended a wounded boy with silver hair, this is Volley Lucifer, Grigori member turned terrorist, and the murderer of Rhea's Gremory. He was badly injured and had lost a lot of blood due to his fight with the Red Dragon Emperor. Furthermore, losing a sacred gear usually means death of that person. They could see Volley barely even able to be conscious due to the immense blood loss. Iku. There has to be something you could do, Kuroka, Lefei. Kuroka. Senjutsu is useless against him, neither am I able to restore his life force, nor am I able to heal his wounds. Lefei. Even my healing spells are ineffective, whoever the Red Dragon Emperor was, must have been strong enough to not only beat him in his Juggernaut drive, but to also take away his sacred gear and put it into his body. Kuroka. Worried, I do not care about them, I just want to see him alive. Any progress guys? Lefei. Nothing big brother Arthur, nothing is working so far. Volley barely awake, my death is inevitable guys, there is nothing you could do, I have taken a lot of damage, plus lost my sacred gear due to her assaults, I do not think I can make it. Plus the Juggernaut shortened my lifespan by a huge margin as a result, even if I survive this, I cannot even life alive for 0 years. Let it go guys. Arthur. Do not say that Volley, do not say it damn it. Kuroka. He is right leader, you cannot die, not like this. Lefei. There is nothing guys, nothing we can do sorry. Arthur. Don't be Lefei, you are trying your best. Volley. Stay away from the Red Dragon Emperor, she is even stronger than I imagine, I cannot let you guys die because of my stupid actions. Kuroka. No don't we will avenge you, she will suffer for her actions. Volley. Do not be stupid Kuroka, I do not have much time left. Her name is. But that Volley dies due to his injuries, coupled with his life force taken away, due to having his sacred gear extracted as well as the Juggernaut drive. Arthur and Biku silently watch as they lost their friend, silently crying due to his demise. Lefei could be seen weeping. Kuroka was wailing due to the demise of her possible mating partner, as well as her only friend. Kuroka in a sad yet furious tone, we will avenge you Volley. No matter what it takes. But Asia back at her house. Asia can be sleeping in her room, cause of the stressful meeting along with the funeral that took place afterwards. While she may not be affected by Rhea's and her peerage's demise, she was still sad about their demise to a certain extent. This coupled by the fact that she fought a Lucifer who just so happened to be the White Dragon Emperor, knocked the nun out easily to sleep. She could be seen dreaming about a certain dragon. Hello. Asia. You are not Drag, who are you? I cannot believe you forgot about me so soon, nor did you recognize my voice. Asia. Hey Albion. Albion. Yes, it is me Albion, the vanishing dragon, your dragon's rival well at least former rival, since we are now inhibiting one host now. Asia could only watch in awe as a majestic white dragon could be seen in an icy plain. She knew that this dragon meant business, considering she managed to be the host of dragons who were pretty much rivals. She knew that she had to convince him to join her side. Asia. Are you mad that you inhabit the same body as Drag or by the possible death of Volley? Albion. Honestly, I am surprised that you are even alive after incorporating me into your body without dying. As for the other part I am sad at Volley's demise, but at the same time I warned him to not push himself that far or even use the Juggernaut drive, knowing that it could easily turn him into a mindless monster. But he was overconfident that he could handle the drive's effects with his own magic. He pretty much did the same mistake as a lot of my previous hosts. Looks like some things do not change Albion. Asia and Albion. That voice, Drag. Drag. Yeah that's me Drag, well since we are now in the same body, we might as well get along with each other and put our rivalry aside. Albion. Heh, I guess I have no choice. Asia. Well I am happy that you two are getting along, so what is the plan right now guys? Drag. For starters you need to learn how to mask your aura, since a lot of supernatural beings would want to either kill or recruit you into your ranks. Albion. Then I can teach you my abilities and turn you into a fire and ice hybrid dragon, this will allow you to use my abilities as well. Asia. Yeah I guess we can do that and thanks Albion for helping me out. Albion. Not a problem, partner. Drag. Hey she is my partner. Albion. Our partner. Drag. Geez okay, I will play along. Asia could only sigh at both the dragon's love-hate relationship, she knew that this is gonna be a long day with these two lizards arguing every now and then. She should have known that this was gonna happen. She was gonna rest till tomorrow morning till she gets ready for another ritual being as painful as the previous one. Asia decided that now would be the time to actually do the ritual, since the factions would be ready dealing with a new Chaos Brigade, so nobody would dare to bother with the ritual. She knew that she must be much stronger if she had to deal with any other possible future threats. Asia. Here we are. Greg. Same place where we did our ritual. Albion. Seems secretive enough, so shall we begin? Asia. Yeah. Unlike the previous one, this wasn't as painful as the one which Drake had done, due to Asia's draconic strength, as well as her high pain tolerance. The ritual even had completed faster than that of Drake's one, since only it was an addition of a few elements to her body. Aside from that, 80% of the ritual had already been completed, that being her conversion from a human to a dragon. Albion then decided to teach her on how to activate her balance breaker, as well as a few of his ice magic spells, along with his signature ability Reduce, the poison that could easily kill a lot of supernatural beings. With its reduction of organic matter, it had the same limitations as Drake's signature move. She even learned how to cool the air enough to freeze an area, creating an icy field capable of destroying entire armies. Albion. You managed to learn all of my abilities in a week's time without that much effort, you really are something. Drake. Albion, I told you that our partner is something else entirely. Albion. Yeah, I must agree, Drake, she is not to be messed with. Asia. Thanks guys, I wouldn't have been this strong without you guys. Both. No problem, partner. But that Asia then decides to head home. Zenobia and Irina were worried sick about their friend missing. When she came back, they were overjoyed, but had sensed something different about the blonde. They realized that Asia had become much stronger than she used to be before. They knew that now she at least had a fighting chance with anyone who tried to hurt or attack her or them. They congratulated her on not only becoming strong, but also for doing something thought impossible by the very law of nature. Zenobia. Would you mind showing me what you learned, Asia? Irina. Cheerfully, please Asia, even I want to see. Asia. Alright, simmer down guys, I will show you the abilities. But that Asia showed her proficiency in ice magic, as well as her utility and combination abilities. They knew that Asia had become efficient in using her ice magic. Asia also showed them Albion's signature ability Reduce, capable of killing gods with its eroding nature. They were shocked to see its capabilities, and were awed by her newfound strength. Then a portal appears in front of them while showing her abilities. It was Serzich's along with his wife Queen Grafia showing up. They prepare themselves for a possible fight, but seeing their condition, they decide to let it go. They knew that he has still not been over his sister's demise. Serzich's. Hello Asia, Zenobia and Irina. Asia. Worried, what do you want Serzich's? Serzich's. I wanted to invite you to the Young Devils gathering which will be taking place in a week from now. Asia. And what if I refuse? Grafia. Begging, please don't miss Argento, we need you to be there for the alliance meeting with the Norse faction, please do not deny my request. Asia. With a pitiful look, alright we will be there. Serzich's, thank you Asia. But that both Serzich's and Grafia leave to their homes to grieve, as well as prepare for the alliance with the Norse faction. Asia. So guys, are you two coming for the meeting? X and I. Yes we are, we do not have anything else to do. But that the trio rest and relax until the meeting starts. Little do they know that someone wants vengeance from her and will do anything to get it. At an unknown location. So the Red Dragon Emperor would be arriving at the meeting. Yes Kuroka, that's what our spies are telling us. Kuroka. Good, be prepared Red Dragon Emperor, I am coming for your life. Along with Kuroka, a mysterious individual was spying on them. They knew that if the alliance meeting would take place, his goal would never be completed. He realized that he must stop the peace meeting at all costs if he wants his mission to be completed. You are doing a big mistake, All-Father Odin, I will not let this meeting happen, Ragnarok will take place. But that the mysterious individual leaves from the area. Asia and company head towards the underworld to get to the meeting. She is wearing a party dress, along with Zenobia and Irina who are wearing similar dresses. They realize that they must be dressed properly for this event. Asia. Are you guys ready? Zenobia. Yes we are. But that the trio enter inside the hall, there they could see a lot of devils fighting with each other. Do you have a death wish Zephyr? Zephyr? You stink of virginity bitch, here let me help you with that. Do not even think about it asshole. Calm yourselves down heir of Aegir's, problem child of glacial ebolas, show some decency or else. Zephyr. Problem child, you will pay for that Seirg. Zephyr rushes at Seirg, but the Belair easily sidesteps and gives him a gut punch, sending him flying and knocking several bones as well as him out. Seirg. Geez Atlas act like a heir, don't embarrass yourself. Well what do we have here, the Red Dragon Emperor herself. Asia. Do I know you? Yes you may call me Sequoia, heir of the Aegir's family, I am very much interested in your armor. An. Sequoia is a Gundam fan, so she loves mechs and mechanical suits. Asia. Ah, thank you, I appreciate that. Sequaria. And I also heard that you are the first red and white hybrid dragon emperor. I am dying to see your combination balance breaker. Seirg. The red dragon emperor is here, a pleasure to meet you. I am Seirg, heir of the Bale family. Also, I would like to test you in a fight against me, would you mind? Asia. Sure, I would gladly fight you. Asia then sensed something familiar, a familiar aura, but she realized that this is not possible since Kaneko is dead. She immediately heads out to the direction where the aura was coming from. Only to find a lady wearing a kimono, having cat ears and 2 cattails. Asia knew that this creature is a Nekomata. Drake had informed her about that. Why, hello there. Asia. Who are you and what do you want? My name is Kuroka, I am part of the volley team, you killed my leader, now prepare to die. Asia. Do you know why I killed him? Kuroka. I don't wanna know and I don't care, you will die here. Asia Argento, it is not a pleasure to knowing you. Asia. Rip and tear, the Nekomata. But that Asia engages her in a fight, compared to volley, she was far more easier, but at the same time the dragons had warned her that she had enhanced her abilities using Tauki, as well as using blades made of Samuel's poison to kill Asia. Asia. Let me tell you what your leader did, he is the reason the entire Gremory peerage is dead. By any chance are you related to Kaneko? Kuroka. Why did you say that name? Asia. Because Volley is the reason she is dead, he killed him during one of his rampages, if I hadn't stopped him, everyone I know would have been dead. Kuroka. No, the real reason is that she aligned herself with the Alliance and they are gonna pay for their actions. Asia. Welp, so be it. But that Asia engages herself against Kuroka. Kuroka constantly tried to use Samuel's poison to stab Asia, but the blonde was easily evaded her attacks. She then proceeded to use Ice Field, slowing down her attacks, making her exhausted and freeze due to her cold. Kuroka tried to attack Asia one final time using the Samuel's blade, but she easily knocked it out of her hand, being helpless. Asia then proceeded to use Welsh Dragon Flare, burning her immensely and dealing massive damage to her. Then she proceeded to throw the burnt Nekashu in the air and proceeded to constantly headbutt her in the sky, breaking her face and immensely damage her, rendering her harmless. Kuroka. Now I know how you were able to kill Volley, you have become too powerful for your own good, now just kill me already, I have no reason to live for. Asia. Well, I will give you a mercy kill. But that Asia uses Welsh Dragon Flare, easily burning the Nekashu alive. Kuroka accepted her death, knowing she would be reunited with her sister in the afterlife. After which Asia decides to head towards the hall where the alliance treaty was being signed. Auden had not arrived yet, so Asia decided to talk with the other guests about the underworld politics, as well as inform Zenobia and Irina about where she went. Zenobia. So you killed Kuroka, huh? Asia. Yeah, I didn't want to, but I knew that she had to be put out of her misery, so I did what I had to do. Irina. I will pray that she gets peace in the afterlife. Asia. Yeah, please do so. Asia then notices the All-Father Auden had arrived along with his assistant, a Valkyrie. He had already made a scene which embraced the Valkyrie. Auden-sama, please behave yourself, we are in an important conference. Auden. That's why you don't have a boyfriend, because of your strict nature. But that the Valkyrie starts crying, throwing a hissy fit that she will be getting a boyfriend soon. Auden could only sigh at her actions. He introduced her Roswies, a young Valkyrie. He also told her that she is gentle, but can be strict, therefore she is unable to get a boyfriend. Auden then decided to sign in the treaty. That's when a Norse magic circle opened up. Auden. You've got to be kidding me. I cannot let this treaty take place, father. Auden. Loki. Loki. Sorry, but an alliance with lower-class beings is a disgrace to the name of Asgard. I will never achieve Ragnarok if such a thing takes place. Roswies. If you have a problem, Loki-sama, then please voice your opinions down the right channels, not like this. Loki. Do not interfere, you low-class Valkyrie. Roswies gritted her teeth at the statement. Loki then summoned Fenrir to attack the area, but before Loki could do any damage, Ajuka, one of the Devil Kings, sealed him away using a magic seal. Surziches. Thank you, Ajuka. How long will he be sealed? Ajuka. Hours, considering his power. Auden. This is my fault, I will take full responsibility for his actions. Surziches. It is not your fault, All-Father. Auden. I will ask Thor to send Mjolnir, the red dragon girl can wield it to defeat him. Surziches. Asia, will you help us defeat Loki? Asia. Yes, Lucifer-sama, I will help you defeat him and anyone that is in the way of this peace. 9 hours later. The leaders were preparing for their assault against the Norse god when Asia and the others showed up in order to deal with the rogue god. It was decided that Asia along with Zenobia and Irina will be sent to deal with him. To enhance further protection, Citri and her peerage as well as the remnants of Volley team also agreed to help them in order to buy time for Asia so that she can get Mjolnir in order to seal the rogue god. Roswies also volunteered to go with them. At the battlefield. Asia. Alright, is everyone ready? Everyone? Yes, we are. The seal breaks, revealing a very pissed off Loki. He cursed Beelzebub for using a seal to inhibit his powers. The rogue god was even more determined to unleash Ragnarok upon the world as a sign of vengeance. Roswies. Loki-sama, please go back. Odin-sama would forgive you if you go back to the Norse. Please, you are making a mistake. Loki. I am preventing him from making a mistake. Roswies. Well then we have no choice but to fight. Asia. Wow, Roswies, the negotiations were short. But that the battle begins, Loki further summons the Midgard serpent along with his grandchildren Hati and Skoll. They begin an all-out assault against the teams. Citri and her peerage deal with the Midgard serpent, Volley team deal with the runts, Roswies deals with Fenrir, leaving Asia to deal with Loki. To say Loki was able to hold his own against Asia would be an understatement. He was easily destroying her, even after she used a fusion of Welsh and Vanishing Dragon Balance Breaker, known as Vanishing Crimson Balance Breaker. He was able to destroy her armor multiple times, as well as counter her spells to a certain degree. She knew that in order to beat the rogue god she would have to use the dragon's signature move Blazing Inferno of Scorching Flames. This move dealt a massive amount of damage to the god, angering him even further. Loki. How dare you dragon damage me like this, how dare you? Asia. Sorry, but I won't let you hurt the people I care about, Loki. Loki. I will make sure you won't interfere. But that Loki unleashes a massive gravity spell grounding Asia as well as knocking her out of the fight. She could only watch helplessly as the Citri peerage gets killed one by the Midgard serpent. Even though the Volley team was able to defeat and seal Fenrir, they were unable to keep up with the other two wolves as they were mercilessly slaughtered by them. Lefay was the first to fall, followed by a grieving Arthur and finally Biku. The only ones that were left were Zenobia and Irina, who were dealing with Hati. They were able to kill the wolf for good, but the other one, Skoll, had attacked Asia, who was barely able to fight against him. She knew that she would die from their attacks. But that's when she saw a light. She saw both of her friends sacrificing themselves in order to save her from Skoll's attacks. Asia now has lost her only family left. She saw Zenobia was the first one to perish due to passing out from blood loss. She saw Irina was barely alive. Skoll had brutally killed her only friends left in this world. Meanwhile, Loki had already killed Roswies. She realized that they had failed. Ragnarok would be brought upon this world, and there is nothing that they could do. Asia. No. Irina. It's okay, Asia. IYLL athletes be reunited. Cough out blood YTHSA. Asia crying, no Irina, you can't leave me like this, I won't let you die. Asia tried using her twilight healing to heal her wounds, but was shocked that nothing had happened. She realized that those fangs were cursed, preventing from using her sacred gear to heal the swordsman. Loki. My grandson's fangs are made up of a special type of poison. They can easily prevent healings, resulting in the death of several gods. Loki laughed maniacally while saying this. He wanted to bring her into despair. The first sign of Ragnarok would be the trigger of the Juggernaut drive. He kept taunting her on how weak she is and on how worthless she had always been. Memories of her helplessness were shown. She watched Issei die, then Riaz and her peerage, and now finally the remnant of her friends had perished as well. Greg. No, Asia, I don't know what to do. Albion. Partner, she doesn't deserve this. All past hosts. Greg. This might be the only way the mad god can be taken down. Albion. I hate to say it. Asia. With tears in her eyes, enough. Loki. What are you gonna, Asia, gonna cry? Asia. Loki. I, who am about to awaken, am the heavenly dragon who has stolen the principles of domination from Laugh at the infinite, and I pursue the dreamy, shall become the ultimate dragon of vengeance, and I shall drown you to the depths of the crimson and silver purgatory. But that the final battle begins, Asia proceeds to transform into a fusion of the juggernaut drives of both the Red Dragon Emperor and the White Dragon Emperor. With that, the dragon simultaneously boosted its power while dividing the runt as well as the serpent, both feeling weak. Then Asia proceeded to unleash the signature move Longina Smasher on them, killing them both instantly. Loki was now shocked at their deaths at how easily both of them were killed. He knew that he was next, so he then proceeded to unleash the Ragnarok. This action of his destroyed the whole arena, but the dragon was still standing. He then lunged at the fear-driven god. She first ripped both of his arms off. Loki screamed in agony as blood was pouring out where his arms were. She then used her tendril-like wings to insert into his body, and it wrapped around his organs, thus causing massive internal bleeding. This resulted in adrenaline being pumped into his body, preventing him from passing out. The Asgardian regeneration only doubling the pain on him as he was constantly regenerating his organs, and with Asia constantly destroying his as a result, he was unable to scream as his voice box was also ruptured. It was a grim sight to behold. Asia then proceeded to land him on a stand-like situation and proceeded to constantly burn and freeze him with her magical abilities. His body started to deteriorate due to constantly being frozen and barbecued. Loki barely managed to speak. "Loki. Please have mercy. Dreg. You have made a big mistake, Norse god, and now you shall pay." Albion agreed with Dreg. He knew that Loki deserved what was coming. He eventually died a painful and agonizing death as his remains were completely charred with ice particles roaming around it. Asia dispelled her juggernaut drive. She then proceeded to cry endlessly as she had now lost everything. Asia. Crying with tears falling from her eyes. "Why am I doomed to repeat this fate? My friends always dies protecting me." First Issei and then Zenobia and Irina. Both dragons were quiet. They knew about Asia's suffering. They knew that she has no one to live for. They pitied her as they were unable to do anything. But they realized something. The faction leaders never showed up to help them. It was as if they never cared. Asia. I know the faction leaders didn't do anything. They just sit back while we clean up their messes, but no longer. From now on they will fight their own battles. I will make them do so. I will rule the alliance and make sure they clean their messes up. Asia was livid when she realized that the faction leaders never showed up. Mjolnir never had appeared. Her friends are now dead. She has now nothing left to lose. Asia. Are you two with me? Both dragons nodded with agreement. They knew that the factions had screwed up big time. They knew that change needed to be brought in. Asia then decided to attack the alliance in order to conquer it so that change can be brought in those supernatural beings so that they can do what needs to be done before it is too late. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow RageRevan for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.